episode of All Wings Considered is sponsored by Home Appliances. Cooking, cleaning, fighting aliens, dodging meteors. A woman's work is never done.
Why don't you wish you had some home appliances?
Oh my gosh, Home Appliances. Now life is good. Forever. Now here's Ben and Jason.
Hey everybody, we are Ben and Jason.
That's correct, we are.
And we are here to make sure the microphone is on. Microphone is on.
Oh, somebody got nervous. It sounds.
That's pretty. Constant moments of anxiety are pretty much my entire life.
And the microphone is a very big one in our life. I will not lie, because we do have problems with it at times.
Screw it up a lot.
Every time. But it's, you know what? Is it a home appliance?
I don't know. I don't know what a home appliance is specifically.
Any appliance you use in your home. Now, is a microphone an appliance? I don't know what you apply it to, but why not?
I'm not going to let you touch my microphone is what I think we're finding out here.
I guess you're right. Well, welcome to another fine episode of All Wings Considered. Where...
Yes, hey everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We've got a big show for you tonight.
A really big show.
It's actually not that big. No,
it's moderate sized.
We're moving on to our next game, as we promised last time, and we said we'd take feedback, and
yes,
pretty much everybody I talked to, literally everybody I talked to,
yes,
said Privateer.
You know what you guys should do? You guys should play Privateer, but if you play anything first, you should consider Privateer.
Yeah, so we're going to play some Privateer.
Yes, we're going to start our journey.
Mm-hmm. And we have not quite figured out our... how we will do this, because there's an argument for playing through the entire game and you guys watching all the grind. There's an argument for showing you how it starts and then skipping ahead. So we might do a mix of like
a grinding tour.
Yeah, we might do like a grinding weekend or something, or we might just go along like this, or we might just jump to the storyline in a bit. But at least today we're going to take you to the Troy system. We'll tell you all about the game, the background, how it was made, that sort of thing, and then we'll kind of show you how it works.
Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about our early system strategies. How do you build yourself up to that fully loaded Centurion?
Well, I lie to myself until I think I'm happy.
There you go. Sounds perfect. And then he buys a Galaxy anyways.
So that's coming up in our second half of our show. The first half, we've got all the usual nonsense.
Yes.
You were here last week. We called out like 50. Hey, producer, do this. Hey, producer, do this. And he has PTSD right now.
Yes, from listening to that.
Right now. So we've got all sorts of slideshow stuff, and it's going to be a good show. Unless we screw it up terribly.
Well, something has to wonderful happen. That's okay, though.
Have a good one eventually.
Yes. Yeah. We both have a wonderful pre-evening cocktail. We have delved into the dangers of California, and now we are ready to talk Wing Commander.
And actually, before we even talk Wing Commander, I want to start by thanking Chris Reed, who...
surprise package.
We got a surprise Amazon package from Chris just before we started the show, which was just a really nice surprise.
Yep.
No secret to anybody who follows Twitter. It's been a bad week for me, but that's fine. This is the kind of stuff you do to get yourself up after bad things happen, and at the end of the day, everything's good. It's just... It was really nice of him, is what I'm trying to say. He knew I was having a bad time, and he sent us some snacks, and I thought that was really sweet. So thank you, Chris, if you're out there, which you probably are not. Because
no, he is. He said yay right now.
Oh,
so
nice.
He heard you. He heard you. Yes.
Right, well.
I did not know what it was. I saw it at the door when I arrived, and I said, Ben, you have a package.
So tell me about your week, first of all.
My week's been very good. Some things have gone very well. So some new opportunities have opened up. And yesterday, I spent the day at our most hallowed ground at Gettysburg.
Nice.
Yes, which was really cool. But as I was telling you earlier, I think my biggest shock from being there was, I guess growing up, you always hear, ridge, and you expect them to be higher up.
No, it's really
as flat
as you would expect for Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's real. And then there's like this crazy little round top and Devil's Den, and it's like somebody screwed up their SimCity building map and dropped rocks here by accident, where the rest of it is all farmland.
Every time I have to walk anywhere in a city and it's slightly uphill, I just get really mad at the person for not flattening out the ground before.
There you go. Right?
It's $1 a square, guys.
Yes, that's right.
It's nothing. Bulldoze it flat, your city will be better.
Yeah, it was wonderful to go around. Yeah, I went up little round top, and everything else, and it was I'd never been there before, so it was wonderful to see. But yeah, it was like I was very surprised when I was like, we're calling a lot of things ridges here that I'm not necessarily sure is really a ridge.
I think Chamberlain specifically, as he gave us the mythic history of Chamberlain, kind of exaggerated the
I'm not gonna lie,
the round-toppedness of those tops.
Yeah, when I went to where the 20th Main's area of action was, I was like, so they ran down this hill in 7-step? Because it's not very tall on that back side where you see the flank lines and everything. It's to the road. It doesn't seem like very far over to Round Top, you know?
In fact, let me jump over to our Afterburner slideshow, because I've got a picture that you sent us over on Discord. So,
yes, while I was on site, I was doing so.
right here, look at all the stuff we have. We got a lot of stuff to share today.
Good thing you figured out how to change that zoom. Oh my!
But first, here's the picture you took. I asked you to take a round.
That's right. Yeah, I'm on the observation tower on Seminary Ridge, wherever. I think that's just past like the Virginia Memorial, further south. So yep, you can see the larger hill to the right is Round Top, and Little Round Top is right beyond that group of trees, which is that's a crazy little area too. I didn't realize the wheat field was buried in such a murder box, to be honest, and that's literally what it was. Yeah.
And do you want to be the one to explain why this is a Wing Commander relevant in any way?
This is Wing Commander relevant to us because of Bill Forstchen names one of our Taro pups, who later says, I'm not a pup anymore, after 2 tours of duty, still have a pup. He is named Round Top for that larger hill.
Mm-hmm. And it's an incredibly dumb Civil War professor joke, because his last name is Chamberlain and his call sign is Round Top. And in the actual battle, a fellow named Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain is famous for turning the tide of the war, according to his historiography. Yes.
It was. I mean, when I was walking around, and I'm like, okay, so and when I got to the 20th Main spot, there was also, there's clearly 20 gazillion tours and staff rides always going on at Gettysburg, and there were 3 groups over there, and I could hear them like arguing about it, and I'm like, the hill's right behind you. Like, you guys are at. I have to say, I was very surprised though by how, I guess, just how small that area was. I expected it to kind of be bigger. I mean, the front of it's just those poor bastards. I mean, I don't know what the Alabamans were thinking trying to rush that thing. Yeah, you can't see the actual Little Round Top death zone from this. It just looks like 2 wooded hills, Mike. Get close, though, it doesn't.
Did you go to the cyclotron thing?
I did not go to the cyclotron. I figured I would do that the next time. This time I just wanted to walk the fields. You
are the reason why there's only one cyclotron left in America.
Yeah, it's kind of funny though that you say that. I'm currently reading a book about a Russian spy, and one of the things they talk about is his wife works at the Borodino Cyclodrome Museum in Moscow. So that's where he always met his handler, right by the cyclodrome. So it's funny you say that. But I will go next time, because it's only an hour and a half from here. It's a quick drive for us.
Gettysburg has this thing called it's not cyclotron, it's cyclorama. I think it's cyclorama. But it's basically just a circular room with a painting all around, and there's like props in front of the painting, so it seems like you're standing in the middle of a battle. Yes. And they play sounds and emit smoke, and this was like what people did instead of having movies in the 1920s. And it's now like a historical thing. It's the last one of these, and it's.
I did stand in the spot though where the painter decided this is the perspective of the battle I will use. So I mean, I have that going for me. Well, anyway, there was a sign that said literally that right at one point. I was like, oh, great.
You went at exactly the right time, because when July is, it's no fun.
Oh, it was a perfect day for it. It was cool out, so walking wasn't that bad, but yes.
I went to the reenactment maybe 10 years ago, and this is actually Wing Commander related, because I got there, and it was crazy, obviously. Civil War people are crazy people. But who should be there signing books? But Newt Gingrich and co-author William R. Forstchen.
Oh, well then.
So I had to wait in the very long Newt Gingrich line and tell Mr. Gingrich that I was not especially interested in meeting him.
Yep.
But, hey, Bill, I happen to have my copy of Fleet Action with me. So,
how convenient, sir. Oh, don't go anywhere without it.
That's true.
Just like your American Express.
And then I got to watch the guy who wrote the Wing Commander novels set off, mortars or cannons or something, so that was fun.
Oh, there you go.
It was a border demonstration, and he was firing them because
Michael, to answer your thought, yes, when I was there were guys mowing some of the fields down, and you could tell that they really did not like the fact that they had to like when I walked up to where Lee had watched Pickett's charge, there was a guy mowing right there, and he clearly was not thrilled that I had walked up at that moment, because every time he came near me, he had to throttle down instead of just whipping back and forth at full speed. Did you get Newt to sign your fleet action?
Actually, Joe Garrity got Newt to sign a copy of Action Stations for me once because we had gone to Politics and Prose downtown.
Okay.
Because they were advertising meet the authors of whatever his first.
The 1945?
No, it was
ones?
Later. It was the first Civil War, Gettysburg, I think it was called.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So Joe and I went expecting to
meet Bill,
because we'd never met him before at that time.
Yeah.
And he was sick. He didn't show up, and it was just Newt, and nobody else cared. But we got to the front of the line, and I was nervous, and I didn't want to talk to Newt Gingrich especially. But
yeah, what do you say?
Like many people.
Yeah, like, hey, you're a jerk.
But Joe Garrity had the cojones to give him the copy of Action Stations he'd brought.
Hey, once you've been in the line, man,
yeah.
You've been behind the lines.
And Newt signed it.
You seem so happy about this. It's actually your least favorite copy of Action Stations.
No, Newt signed it. Sorry, Bill wasn't.
That's right. I remember this.
That's an artifact.
Yeah, we have some weird signed books like that, if you think about it. Like, I have one from Andrew Keith that on the famous False Colors, which lists his brother as the author on the front when it is not him, and inside he wrote, see, I really did write it, because on the inside cover page it lists his name correctly.
Now that we're going down this, who has signed Book Commander books that didn't write them? I have a copy of Action Stations that I brought to DragonCon a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Where Malcolm McDowell and David Warner were both signing. So I paid the $40 and got Malcolm McDowell to sign it. He was perfectly friendly. Yep. And then I went over and I waited in line for like an hour and a half for him. And then I walked across the room, and there was no line for David Warner, which is unfortunate because he was the sweetest man I've ever met at one of those things. He was so nice, and he was so excited, and I was like, because I was. How do I explain that I want them to write this novel that doesn't have their picture on it?
This is not
it's not an adaptation of their movie, but
it's related to a character
It's theoretically a book about the character they played when he was young. So, Malcolm McDowell was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And David Warner was just like, oh, that's so interesting. And how did you like the movie? I didn't see the final cut. And
thank God, I guess.
So it was very nice.
Well, good for him.
Well, that is enough of our new show where we have one picture of Gettysburg and
right.
talk over it.
I'm glad earlier when I was like, what picture you take? I'm like, I hope you just took the one from Discord. He's like, yeah, of course. I'm like, okay, good. Because I don't feel like it was needed to go through 500 pictures of... Google it. There's plenty of pictures of Round Top. Just not mine.
Well, before we go on, I did want to have a brief tribute to the reason my week was crummy was my very old cat, Chloe. She's 18 years old, so
you're Kilrathi.
Yeah, she passed away, and I wanted to share a couple pictures. She was with me for many missions. So that's her when she was a kitten. She was a really, really pretty cat and just a sweetheart. And she'd been living with my parents ever since we went out to California, and it was really nice this past year. We got to see her, and so it was good. I mean, it's sad that she's gone, but that's life.
That's how Kilrathi.
So, and before we get into strictly Wing Commander things, we wanted to also take a moment to honor that all-important group of people in our lives. Anyway, in my life, I don't know about you, but moms.
My mom was texting me earlier, actually. She's the one who wouldn't stop texting me 10,000 questions.
So,
which, thank you, Mom.
Mother's Day is this weekend, and we wanted to salute to moms. And I
didn't know we were doing that. Was our first official salute?
I don't know. By the way, can you salute? Do you know how you do it?
Yeah, I'm kind of half-assing because we're sitting down doing nothing. But...
One of my, and this is probably like a triggering thing from the early days of the Usenet is Usenet assholes critiquing people in movies for not saluting right. That was a huge thing back then. So I was like, I'm never going to try to seriously salute ever because I don't want to be one of those guys who does it wrong.
Oh.
So
because there's a thumb placement. I forget there's an issue with your thumb placement depending if you're in certain things, and there's an angle. And yes, because people typically look like they're, hello, is there any ships out there? And that's not what it is. It's instead like very snap, And I'm not super familiar with the etiquette as well. So we're probably both going to get in trouble.
Yeah. But anyway, in honor of moms, we tried to think about moms in the Wing Commander universe, and most of them actually did not come off that well.
Wait, how many more moms did you think of? Because I just thought of the one.
You thought of 4 Minutes of Jameson, I'm sure. Yeah. I thought about the mother creature from Wing Commander Prophecy, the queen alien.
I mean, that's digging deep, okay?
It is, but I ended up with the obvious one, which is Colonel Blair's mom.
There you go.
And that is the only time we ever actually see her pictured in Wing Commander Academy. But she gets some lore in the various movie novels. She's the pilgrim half of him, so it actually this is one of those advantageous continuity things where they had absolutely no idea that she was supposed to be part of a weird religious sect, but they dressed her up like an Amish lady anyway. So
she does look like she's from the mountains of like Virginia, where they have that kind of style, like Amish style. Yes.
Anyway, her name is Debbie Soulsong. She met Arnold Blair in the late 2620s. Actually, Paladin introduced them.
Of course.
Want that lore?
Because Paladin's 1,000
Paladin's
years old.
Everywhere, yeah. She was a member of the Church of McDaniel.
Close.
Proper name of the Pilgrim religion. And she was born on Perrin in the...
I like how you're trying to stretch this out. We get it. There's only one mom.
Yeah. It's the mom we could think of. Anyway, so there's Blair's mom. That's what she looks like.
And then, because
Happy Mother's Day.
Because Forward Minister Jameson is, well, I mean, I guess in one way she's a good mom trying to keep her kid alive, and then she betrays her entire species. So it's a split decision, I think, for her. She'll probably not get she'll get the basic flowers from Teleflore.
Oh, yeah. We have to get our mom something.
I took care of that, suckers.
Yeah. Well, next I wanted to talk about a fantastic feedback post we got on the forums just yesterday, I think, which was from a fellow from the, I guess, United Kingdom who has been watching the show, and thank you so much.
Yes.
No one has to watch this show.
No, we have to be here.
Oh, we actually don't have to.
No, we do. We're contractually obligated.
Anyway, he was all excited that we've been talking about all this... Privateer 2 stuff. And he said, well, I have all this background because there's like cultural stuff we're missing because we're not from the UK. So there's all these references and in-jokes and things, and he gave us a whole list of them, and I thought I'd share them along with you now.
These are fresh for me, so I should be amused.
It's Dizabits is the username, I believe.
Yes. Long time CZer, I believe.
I can't keep people in web forums straight anymore. Avatars change. People change their names on Twitter every day. These kids today, I don't understand it.
We've had the same nickname since like 1993.
The first one he pointed out was I had mentioned dolphins as one of the wingmen in Privateer.
Yep.
And he said that's a nod to Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which I think we do all know over here. That's a universal thing.
Yes.
In fact. But yeah, so long, thanks for all the fish is the dolphin specific book, I believe, and the reference in Privateer 2 is actually it's not even there. It's one of the wingmen in Privateer 2 is named Delphinius, and they were supposed to be a dolphin. It was literally going to be that when you talk to them, you would see a dolphin, and they would like gargle, and they didn't actually fly. But somewhere along the line, very late in the game, someone said that's ridiculous, don't do that.
Yep.
So it got cut from the game at the last moment, and he's just a mysterious human. But it's neat lore anyway.
Everybody loves dolphins.
People do love dolphins.
I mean, they're smart, so maybe they could fly spaceships one day.
The sea. In fact, Star Trek Next Generation had that same lore, which was almost certainly, again, a nod to Douglas Adams. The Enterprise D supposedly has dolphin crew members.
Oh, okay. I'll watch
now that I think about this, Larry Niven's Known Space, which is really influential in Wing Commander,
yep,
also has dolphins in space. And people have traded... There's some sort of deal where dolphins work in space, and people have given them robotic arms as exchange. There's a whole backstory with that. Yeah.
Okay, that's a trade.
Space dolphins, it's a thing.
It's a real big thing, apparently. What else we got?
Well, the other two things are a couple. He had a couple that I'm going to point out here. Where's my slideshow? So I think this is something that's been going around the community since back in the day. But it was two of the Papagod ships in the game are named after football players, soccer players who were very big at the time. And the first one is he was pointing this out to say the name is pronounced a certain way. I think we said Cantona, and it's more of Eric Cantona. And that's this fellow here. He's a French soccer fellow who
a very serious fellow with a pop collar.
He played for Manchester United, which is almost certainly the connection to Privateer 2, which would have made him Manchester.
Oh yeah, they do love that, so that would make sense.
And he actually shared the fellow in the chat on the forums shared a video of him karate chopping, kung fu kicking a fan, which is apparently a famous thing. And of course, I've included that.
Oh, he attacks a hooligan.
Yes, he fights a hooligan.
Do they also flop too? Because that's a lot too. Now, why didn't that guy just drop dead? Because that's usually what happens.
And by the way, now you can hear how you press it.
There's the morning headline.
Oh, but that is not me. That is not me refereeing the game. I've never had a mustache.
4 times he walked last season.
Just want to clarify.
3 times he walked last season. Once more in a pre-season game, and now for the 5th time in his Manchester United career.
Look at this. This is
Eric Cantona is central.
Everywhere.
Maybe that's just him.
I don't know, man. Umbro was huge in my school.
Alan Wilkie is the
You didn't have
referee,
Umbro for gym class?
but it was the advice of the linesman Eddie Walsh which helped him.
This is a very long clip.
It's like a minute and a half.
Oh!
There we go.
That was like what the hell?
Oh, this is
That just seemed to come out of nowhere.
Some guy was taunting him in the stands, and he did that.
So he like kicked him in the face.
Yeah.
With cleats on. With soccer cleats on. I feel like that's probably a crime.
But that's a good reason to name a pirate ship after somebody.
Well, it's a pretty piratey move. It's a pretty piratey move. Right. That is also, again, not me breaking up the fight. It's party of the foot. Business of the foot. Again, not me. Just to be clear.
All business with him. And there's the ship that is named after him, the Cantona.
Tona.
It was a long I believe, and we couldn't hear the video right then, but I think that's what it was. And the second one is Alan Shearer for the A Shearer, which is this ship here. And our friend in the forums shared a video of him as well, which is him scoring his greatest goal, which does not mean much to me, but it's interesting to see.
The best goal ever.
Sure.
All right, let's see. Number 3.
At number 3, Alan Shearer sums up what he's all about. This
I really feel like
is
if we
an
were funny,
absolute
we would have
screamer.
a commentary for this guy.
But we're not that funny.
This is not a new screamer! I mean, yeah, that looked like he hit it from pretty far.
But soccer is one of those things that I'm not into it, so I don't want to try my good-natured comedy over it because somebody else will care about it. You know, it's one of those things that I don't get it, but I get that other people get it.
Yeah, but we're Americans. We play it as kids, and then we're just supposed to be ignorant and hate it. That's all.
We're the-
Unless it's World Cup time, and then we're supposed to cheer, and then we forget about it. I think that is the model.
I believe that we as Americans can work to be less obnoxious than we are usually.
Yeah, but soccer, I mean, let's be honest, it's a kind of obnoxious game. I mean, after this, we'll watch some flops where it's like, the guy drops dead. You know, that's what those fake sniper videos where it's like, sniper shot! And then they drop because it's flopping in soccer.
And our third sports figure, which is one I did not know about at all.
Okay.
I don't think anyone has ever pointed this out because it's such an obscure reference in the game itself, but we brought it up because we were talking about different missions that have the civilian ships in them.
Yep.
But we mentioned that one where you're double-crossed by Rocket Ronnie.
Yeah. Is there a
Who's
real?
apparently
Whoa!
guy right here.
He's a pool player?
Snooker is what they call it. I don't
Excuse
know if there's
me,
a difference.
sir?
I don't know if there's a difference between snooker and pool.
Should I be covering the microphone for those words? Snooker.
And here, I'm going to quote this post directly.
Okay.
This must be referring to one of my favorite people, Ronnie O'Sullivan, the snooker player. His famous nickname in the UK is Rocket Ronnie, the Rocket, or Essex Exocet.
Oh, he's
You have my respect if you could say that one.
Essex. I can't say it.
At the tender age of 43, he has just made it back to world number 1. Here he is, famously scoring the fastest ever maximum in snooker, 147 in 5 minutes 20 seconds. The score in this time is a total miracle. It's never been repeated since. It happened in 1997, a year after Privateer 2 came out. And I didn't want to play a 5-minute video.
Yeah, snookering.
So what I did was I sped it up times 4.
Yeah,
so
that's the type of
Yeah, this is my solution to this problem.
Okay.
Watch some very, very fast snooker.
Whoa, they got like a butler. What the hell? This looks like a weird.
It looks
nine
wider
ball
than a pool table.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the balls are small. I don't know. We should look that up next time. Producer.
Google.
It's actually very compelling watching it in this fashion.
Yeah, because there's a lot less thinking. But it looks like it's a weird version of 9-ball, except there's So there's a black ball that keeps an 8-ball that keeps getting reset or something. A blue ball. Because yeah, see, he keeps he's hitting it, and then does he have to hit the black? Oh, okay. So you have to hit a red ball. The black ball's always in the same place, and then you always have to hit.
You hit one and then the other. Okay.
Is it the same pocket though?
No,
it's not the same pocket. What the hell's a blue ball then in the middle, or the yellow ball over there?
This all very good questions. I think I only know this sport from the Mitchell and Webb looks snooker commentator bit they do, which doesn't really explain anything.
Snookering is.
Oh, what's gonna? Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, there's like a gauntlet at the end. That's
yeah. What
cool.
the funk? Okay. I mean, he is destroying.
He's
this
extremely good at this.
Yes, and then
he's like that David Duchovny robot from the Space.
Yeah, yes, he is. Hey, you looking to make some money? I like how fast it looks.
I mean, everything looks better in 4 times as fast. George Lucas knew that, and so do we.
Oh, what a snookerer!
So that fellow, and
the tables are 12 feet. Okay, so it is bigger.
So he also noted for us that
I see. Somebody in the chat explained it. So I guess they call it. I guess you pot is what they call shooting in the pocket. So you have to put all the reds in, and then a color until the reds are gone. Then yellow, green, brown, blue, pink, and black. Wow.
Crazy.
Snookering.
That sounds more fun than pool. He also pointed out that we were saying Brian Blessed. It's actually Brian Blessed.
Blessed.
Which makes sense because it's in a UK voice.
Gotcha. Do you have something cool for that or no?
No. In fact, he actually posted a clip from Monty Python's Holy Grail where they're pronouncing it, or not Holy Grail, Life of Brian, where they're pronouncing it that way, and I figured I wouldn't risk copyright gods in that one because we've got like a 30-second Star Trek clip later that's gonna break this thing anyway. So
yeah, and I was gonna say, isn't Life of Brian like coming back to theaters or something? Because I feel like I see commercials for it recently.
That sounds right.
So that would probably be bad. They would probably come after us more than normal.
Anyway, that got me thinking about Privateer 2 this morning as I was trying to put together different slideshows, and I always have like 5 things I'm going to do, and then it becomes 50 things over the course of.
I think earlier your quote was, "Oh, we have a short show, but I'm going to add 5,000 things right now."
Yeah.
Yep. You did.
So I was thinking about Privateer 2 advertisements. We were talking about the ships and everything.
Yep.
And I wanted to show, first of all, these are the kind of crazy UK, European advertisements. They had a different ad campaign for Europe and the US.
Yep.
And if you've never seen the other countries' ones.
That was a little kind of drug-inducing. Trips worth taking.
It's like the giant eyes, and it's weird stuff. It's weird cool over there, and they like these are strange ads.
Well, yeah, look at your senses.
Different senses, yeah. In fact, I think this is actually a U.S. ad. So
wait a minute, we were going to smell the ships or something? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's Privateer 2, smelly ships.
Look how colorful that looks, huh? It's like Christmas.
This is one of the premier U.S. advertisements, and I actually dug it up initially because I wanted to see their different rendered ships. And as we've been learning, the ships of Privateer 2.
We have.
Can you identify any of these?
I can identify, what is that, Straith?
There's a Straith in there, back.
We have, all I can think of in my head is it looks like hot dogs instead.
It worked! The system worked!
I know that we haven't done that one yet, but I know that damn ship, but I can't remember the name because we haven't done them. That's the Daniker.
Yep,
right?
Danrik,
sorry. And then, did I do them all that we done? Hot dogs, straight.
This is the ones we've done, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You got the ones we did.
Yeah, the other ones. And wait, is that a Calrecci in there too? Is that what that one?
Oh
is?
yeah, it's not the Karechi, it's the Kindred one.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, here's the second page of that ad where
yeah.
But I went through and identified them all for posterity. Blade in the back.
Shaman, that's what I couldn't think of.
And the most interesting one of these, because what they do to make an ad like this, or what they did back then, was it's not a rendering from the game or even a rendered scene at all. It's a bunch of individual transparent elements placed over a starfield. Much like the science that makes our show today.
That's how this works.
So some of these particular renders, especially to do temblers, show up an awful lot. And if you go and compare this to the actual game, the blade doesn't look like that. The tembler doesn't really look like that. But I just wanted to show that off. Because here's the source render for those temblers, which, again, they do not look like this in the final game. But this shows up in all the advertising and marketing and so forth. And one more ad with the same ship again. You can see they've taken the same ships and
just mopped them around.
And in fact, as you go back and look at this one, the weird thing is that the theoretical player ship in the center, that's one of the transports you hire. It's not a military ship. But if you zoom in on it, you can see it's bomb ready. It's got full bomb. It's got 2 nukes somehow.
It looks like a Goron or something with all the missiles on those angled wings, like from Armada.
No, but it's actually a light transport.
Oh, because that makes perfect sense to strap that many weapons on board. Excellent, sir.
And as I was looking at Privateer 2 ads, this is a minor one, but it struck me as interesting because I happened to notice it. This is a booklet that was put out by a magazine called PC Zone in the UK. It was like a 22-page, get ready for Privateer 2. You know, I'm sure Electronic Arts sponsored it, and you would like pull it out of your magazine and it would be all Privateer 2. Anyway, I noticed as I was looking through it that it has 2 articles of the people who went to preview Privateer 2. 2 of them are by Charlie Brooker, who is the guy who created Black Mirror.
Okay. So that show.
He's biggest TV creator in the world right now, and he was doing copy on Privateer 2's sound design back then.
Well, you got to start somewhere, I guess, right? Yep. Interesting. Were those included in U.S. magazines or just in?
No, that was UK only. And before I jump forward again, I got 2 more images from our friend Azadama for the Afterburner slideshow, and I think you'll be impressed. I was.
Oh.
Yeah. Pretty good.
That looks like your shelf behind you.
It does. So I thought that was cool. He's a good guy. Next up, let's follow up on some of the stuff we talked about last week. I promised you get a closer view of that picture back there, so I took a picture of it and...
point this one right there. Yeah. It's a very small window I'm looking at myself in, so it's hard to see. There we go.
So that is the Rolari concept from the Wing Commander movie, the Karathi Destroyer that it does the depth charge scene later in the movie, and is just part of their fleet at various times. And I also, last week we mentioned the Space Cruiser art installation at the Austin Bergstrom Airport. There it is, which looks very much like one of those.
It does look like a Rolari with...
Yeah, it looks like a movie Rolari. And there's 2 of these. They're like alternate ends of the terminal. So
what's going on at the top up there, though? It's like a pirate ship almost.
It's Austin-y. It's
like a building on top?
Yeah.
Huh.
And just wrong with that, I've collected a bunch of other movie ship renders, or movie ship concept stuff from that same period. I thought I'd go through. This is real. This is going to be a concept heavy episode. If you like ships concepts, it's a good one. There's the Concordia.
That's right.
Here's another. This is an early take on the Karathi Dreadnought, which ended up looking not much like that.
That does not look like a dreadnought.
The Broadsword. We'll talk about that in the cargo bay later. Mm-hmm. Another one of these Karathi warships.
It looks like an old a dreadnought, like HMS Dreadnought.
Yeah,
turned into space. You know.
Yeah, this was very. They eventually hit on that kind of rung look for the larger Karathi ships, and I guess this was before they'd quite gotten there. Why did that restart? I know there are more of these.
Uh-oh. Have you figured out what the afterburner limit is before it overheats?
Apparently that number right there.
Number? All right, well.
You know what? I'm going to try something here.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you got a lot more in there.
Can I actually do that?
Oh.
Yes, it worked! Oh, okay.
Sometimes you get excise to get more.
Excise your demons, guys.
That's right. Like your old...
There's the Pegasus asteroid base.
It's not bad. That makes it look more substantial. Yeah. What's a weird, I don't
know why they're giving us like 3 of these at a time, but...
It was,
the rapier... The truck thing from the Tiger Claw. This is the beacon that launches at the start of the movie. Okay. It really hates these particular images for some reason.
It's kind of crazy.
But we're gonna do this.
You're gonna fight the good fight. Oh,
Cordia, Diligent.
Yeah.
And these are like chalk drawings. The Tiger Claw and the Pilgrim Trader. That's yeah. So I wanted to share those. I thought folks would find those cool.
Yeah, those are very cool. What was the one with the bulldozer-esque? No, it looked like a bulldozer plow almost on the nose.
I think it was the Frothy.
Okay. It looked like it. I wasn't sure. It just was it's very different than how it turned out in the movie because it literally looks like a bulldozer.
And the Frothy was the last ship they rendered for the movie. If you look at the Confed handbook, it's not even rendered in there. They have some Confed Intelligence is still trying to determine this.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's like a silhouette or something, right? I think.
Yeah, so it's because it took forever to do the different Karathi ships for the movie, so that was the last one in the pipeline, and out there just at the very end. All right, and let's go to more ship concept. More.
Yep.
I was chatting on Twitter with folks, I think last night, and. Somebody we were talking about Star Citizen and all the amazing concept artists who have worked on it, Jim Martin, Ryan Church, George Hall, and somebody said, they should get Sid Mead or Feng Zhu. Those would be great guys to design ships. And I said, well, actually, they both worked on Wing Commander before.
That's right.
And I wanted to share that.
I remember how big deal that was.
It was a huge deal to have Sid Mead on Wing Commander Prophecy. He was... They brought him in as a contractor to do the initial concepts for the aliens in Prophecy because they wanted to do something to follow up the Kilrathi as the big bad guys, and so they hired Sid Mead, who was at that point peak Sid Mead. He wasn't some young guy struggling. He was. I mean, his title was visual futurist, and he had decades of amazing work. I mean, this is the guy who did Blade Runner.
They
2010
hammered this in all of the advertisements and all of the promotional stuff. It was Sid Mead has designed the new aliens.
Yeah. He's an industrial designer. He's designed new futuristic cars and boats and planes and million different movies that you would recognize. These are from his book Sid Mead's Century, which is one of his art books. Kind of a misnomer. People think, Sid Mead did the aliens, he must have designed every single alien ship, and that's not the case at all. Folks like Mark Verrier need credit for the actual Reed's specifics work. Sid Mead basically kind of did these mood pieces that they then took and created the alien race from. Yeah. So this was the alien dreadnought, or that what does it end up being called? The Kraken.
Yep. The Kraken, like the rum we drank earlier.
And this was his take on a fighter, which becomes the
Moray.
Moray, yeah, that's a Moray.
That's a Moray.
And probably more interesting to folks who have not necessarily seen these are the aliens themselves. He designed. He basically designed this kind of ant caste system where there's workers and there's warriors and there's warlords and there's the mother creature, and he did some concepts like this for all of them.
I remember these.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. And in fact, we're going to talk more about those in a future episode about the Nephilim, because he actually did a bunch more of those, and then the team went and took them, and they did a lot more than you actually see in the final game.
Did they drop Mr. Me's name from the Prophecy box?
No, it's on there. Maybe it's not on the box, but it's in the credits.
So yeah, I remember he was everywhere else because they had 3,000 PC Gamer articles about it.
No, with a big contract artist like this, and I guess it was probably pretty revolutionary in 1997 when they did it on Prophecy. But you hire them for a couple pieces or for a specific idea that they come up with, and your in-house artists take it from there. So he did that on Prophecy, and it was. I mean, you almost think of it like buying a name, but not really, because there's creativity involved, and it's kicking off in that case.
Gotcha.
But the other one is Feng Zhu, who is a big time concept artist today. He actually runs a school for concept art sorts of things, mech designs and all sorts of modern. But probably he's best known for Episode 3. He worked with George Lucas for a year on Episode 3 and all sorts of spaceships and tech stuff. But back in 1997-98, he was just an up-and-coming artist. And a lot of people do not know that he was brought in to work on a couple of aborted Wing Commander games. After Prophecy, they tried a bunch of different things. We talked about Strike Team last week, and in fact, he did all the character concepts for Strike Team, but he's probably best known in the Wing Commander community for doing just a whole swath of concepts for Privateer Online, different ships that would be for the different factions in Privateer Online. And I thought I would share some of that stuff real quick. Here's his character art for Strike Team. The idea for this was it was going to be not a typical Wing Commander. They were going to have, I guess you would say, cartoonier, but not a bunch of boring live action games.
Like exaggerated characters.
Yeah, more like an anime. You might call it anime today. Gotcha. So they did. And the idea is almost like the terrible Babylon 5 spinoff, where they have a crew of people off on this ship on an adventure. So you have a couple Confed officers, and then there's the alien scout lady, and so on. Yes. It's very 90s, very
Crusade, the show that's music wasn't quite finished.
Yeah, so that's his character art.
Okay.
But let's take a look at some of his Kilrathi ships.
Oh, tell me more.
That's a cruiser. The ships for Privateer Online had to work in certain ways. The ships were going to be customizable, so you had to have pieces you could take off of them and put on other ships.
Yep.
So he kind of did these concepts for these baseline.
Those are very sexy.
This nails it exactly. This is real. I remember going to visit Origin in '98 when I was a teenager. I was 16 or 17, and they had just a whole wall of these. I didn't know who the guy was or what these were for or anything, but
that one's a little weird because it's the one that has the most aggressive blade edge there. Instead of being pointy, it's like a giant blunt object.
Yeah,
I assume that's got to be a bomber or something with a look like that.
And that was their bulk freighter.
That one looks like almost a weird Bloodfang Pocton.
Yeah, it gets that Wing Commander 3 knife edge look really well.
Yeah.
But you can also see how they would chunk down into individual components.
Oh, sure. You could take pieces on or add a larger wing for more weapons points and things like that.
So here's his Border Worlds independent stuff.
Border World or Lowlives.
And again, this was all to be super customizable. A lot of these are very rough. A lot of concept artists, when they're building a ship, will start by doing 100 different little sketches like this to try to get their direction and their bearings down. And we're very, very lucky that it's saved in this case. I would love to go back and see this stuff for the early games.
This almost looks like blueprint-esque type of line work.
Yeah, I think the blue aspect is...
It's such a weird concept they've taken where you see the kind of design ideas running through it that had a lot more of big solid components, big hulky things. What have you done to that?
I don't know.
Why is that board
I think it's small, but I can fix it.
I'm sorry, you've run out of afterburner fuel. The slideshow is
We may have over slideshowed this one. Okay, here are his Confed designs.
Okay.
So you've got a lot of cruisers and freighters and destroyers and things.
It gives me...
Carrier.
I don't... Oh, God. It's like...
They're kind of squat.
You know what it is? It reminds me of Command & Conquer 3 GDI design. Those kind of intakes and things like that. That's what CNC3 does a lot with GDI and even Nod's design a bit. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. That looks like a Herc almost. There you go. Some components. Looks like a helmet. I see.
Yeah.
A lot of,
You could see this being the hero ship, and you would be able to swap out all these parts for better guns, better winglets, better everything.
Yeah. You definitely get the impression that they're really looking for modularization. that what that is?
Yeah, you're right. Modulated.
It's one of those
different
words-
drink than I thought.
Yeah. It breaks your brain thinking about it for a second, but yeah.
Another one of our follows from last week, as we finished Special Operations 2, we had said, Mandarin 16309, what is that? And somebody out in the chat was smart enough to know, that's the Reliance prefix code from...
That's the clip you chose for this?
What?
The Reliant one?
Yeah.
Well, see you, bye! Oh, you know what's weird? Oh, no. What do we do? I just noticed this. Video output low.
Oh, no. Well,
are we coming in okay?
Yeah, let us know if we're coming in. I'm just going to drag this over here for just a moment.
I have not been... I'm not going to lie. I've been watching your screen more this evening than that one, so I did not notice when that clicked over. Oh, no.
Refreshing now. No, they say it looks fine.
We're
back to green. It's
okay, it was just
YouTube being a weirdo.
Oh, I bet it was like, whoa, dude, too many slideshows. We gotta lower your streaming bandwidth. All right, thank you, gentlemen.
So first of all, the first reference, Mandarin number 1138. Yeah. That's THX 1138, George Lucas's first film.
Okay.
Which then gets referenced in all the Star Wars. It's the number for the cell block in New Hope. It's hidden in various places because it's the George Lucas number. Everybody knows that.
Yep.
So I went into it anyway. Anyway, here is the Reliance scene from Star Trek II.
Maybe it knew. That's why it went red. It was like warning by doing this.
We know what's going to happen.
It's control already thinking.
Let's talk over this so we don't get sued.
Hey, look! I just watched the movie Summer School, which starred Christy Alley.
That's not interesting at all.
No, it's not. That movie is not interesting.
It's like the third conversation about the Summer School.
Well, it just pops up everyday life.
This movie is so good, though. This is one of my favorites. This is one of those movies I can watch at any time. And now I'm talking over it.
Yeah, I gotcha. No, it is. It's one of those ones where, The Running Man used to kind of be that movie for me, but then Showtime's had it on the last 3 months. I can't do it anymore.
How do we know you'll keep your word?
If I've watched it 30 to 40 times in the last 3 months,
in my judgment, you simply have no alternative.
Definitely is.
I see your point.
Yeah, but it's a great Age of Sail story.
Stand by to receive our transmission.
One of those weird things about Star Trek, their glass is still... I also never understand? Why doesn't every single room on every starship have cameras? It seems like an odd thing when you have view screens and everything.
Maybe there is a camera in every room.
It doesn't seem like it works all the time, since it's, who was in here and what do they do to the engines?
There we go, 1609. Okay.
Perfecto.
Perfect. All right, so we followed up on that.
We have now survived an antimatter hit directly on our hull.
Now, you ready? You have a need.
I got a need. What's that?
For spreadsheets.
Oh, I was going to build it up more. But...
Okay.
All right.
I made some spreadsheets.
Hey.
Before all the cat death and the ER visits and all those things, my wife and I went up to Pennsylvania to visit her mom for the weekend, and while there, I got to sit down and take apart Wing Commander 2 as promised to talk about the different kinds of sabers.
Yes, because last week, Greg, we had a very interesting. We have another mystery that we'll have to one day solve. Which, Mike, you should producer. How did that torpedo launch?
Yes,
that's for another segment down the line. That was a weird one.
So, we noticed when we were playing Special Operations 2 last week that the Sabres had odd armament. They weren't firing their...
they wouldn't fire missiles, mass drivers sometimes.
Yeah. So I decided to look up all the different specs for the Sabre. And I made a spreadsheet. It turns out that in Wing Commander 2 there are several different profiles, and I can go through them here.
Shame on you.
Several different profiles for the Sabre.
I just want you to just read that first so you know that it existed.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know, Lee Haas said that.
So here in this spreadsheet, you can see...
I've spread out some information for you, but some very interesting information you found, right?
Yeah, so the first three are the stats listed in the manual. And one question you always get is, why are the stats in the manual the same as the game? And they never are. That's because game balancing happens all the way up until it ships, and the manuals would have had to go off to be printed, days or weeks before that.
Yeah,
so stuff like armor and maneuverability and stats, that changes very frequently.
Mm-hmm.
So this fourth option, which I've called Ship Codex, that is a midpoint in development capture. We have, thanks to the University of Texas's Video Games Archive, this nice little printout of Wing Commander 2's internal ship stats from midway through development. It's like June or July, and it's really interesting to see. You can see the ships that were cut from the game. You can see how ships have changed. So I threw that in there for comparison. And then these last 5 of them are the different sabers that are actually in Wing Commander 2. The first one is the main in-game saber. If you tell a mission to just fly a saber, that's what you're going to have.
Okay.
But we also have a couple other variants, which is Heavy Torpedo, which you will remember from the last mission of Wing Commander 2, where you have to have 6 torpedoes.
Tithrak main.
Mandarin, which is the one that we were fighting, and we'll see what the difference in the armament was. There's a no-gunner saber, which would have been flown by Jazz in the last mission.
So you don't get any guns.
It would have been flown by Spirit on her suicide mission.
Okay.
And then finally there's a torpedo version, which I am not sure actually gets called anywhere. It may be given to a particular wingman, possibly Bear and Company in the Special Operations 1 finale. Just don't give them the 6 torpedoes, but give them a torpedo, as if that would ever happen.
You act like that, yet I watched them kill a cruiser when you played it, so...
Well, yeah, I mean, it has torpedoes, but I don't know if they have the 6 or the 2.
Oh, I got
That's
you.
the light torpedo loadout.
I gotcha. I was going to say, yeah, they use them, not very frequently, but when they do.
So I've tagged a couple things in here. First one is the damage tag is set to on for the saber, which means that the ship will appear damaged when you first see it, as if it'll have the
sparks coming
out of it.
Yep.
The Mandarin saber, the one we ran into and thought it was weird, is significantly what do they call it today? Nerfed. Its top.
Oh my god! Yes, nerfed.
Its top speed is 100 kps slower. Its afterburner speed is 200 kps slower, which I got to find by swapping out the profiles and flying it myself, and it sucks. If you want a saber that sucks more, I
didn't even know that was possible.
It's less maneuverable.
Okay.
And then here's the interesting stuff. Yes, indeed, as we noticed, the Mandarin saber has no missiles.
Okay.
It has no chaff pod, and it has only 2 particle cannons.
That would make sense.
So that's why they were
Gotcha.
acting that way in the game. The other interesting one I pulled out from all this was the midway through development version of the saber. 4 particle cannons instead of 2 and mass driver. So that would be really fun to put back in the game and see what it's like. We could do like a Wing Commander 2 game where we put back in the profiles from a couple months before it was finished.
And see how crazy it is.
The other thing is,
great idea.
No source can ever agree on how many chaff pods there are. And then the same with the shields. The shield, and this is one of the things that will change the most for balancing and during development. So
sure.
they're different with every single listing. So that's our saber. Saber spreadsheet.
Saber zones.
Another thing I promised that I would do and did just as you came over.
Yep.
So this video explodes. It's because I did a problem and didn't
That's why I left
see
you
it right.
when I came. I said, "Hey Ben," and I was like, "Oh, he looks like he's on fire. I'll leave him alone for you."
We've been talking about the Super Nintendo version of Wing Commander 2, or Wing Commander 1 and Secret Missions, and how Electronic Arts, how it does not belong to Electronic Arts. It actually belongs to Mindscape. They developed it under license, and they retain that license. And we were talking about how Electronic Arts kind of broke the rules when they did the EA Replay PlayStation Portable game. They basically just got the Nintendo ROM and they run it in an emulator on the PSP. But they also edited the intros to remove a couple things. So I've done a comparison video. This is starting up it's going to be first Wing Commander for the Super Nintendo, Wing Commander for the PlayStation Portable, Wing Commander for Secret Missions for the original Nintendo, and Secret Missions for the... anyway, here we go. So look, you start with Mindscape Presents. Yes,
they must have worked on this,
yes.
huh?
Oh, Chris Roberts game. Okay.
We know him.
Yeah. And then... And you can see the start of Wing Commander for these versions is nowhere near as cool looking as the PC with the text. And look, you start, and all reviews are licensed by Nintendo, which is not a PlayStation Portable. And here's the
wow, that looks just like a Nintendo.
Here's the EA Replay version.
Oh,
okay, we got a copyright note for EA.
Oh, for 1992.
And no Chris Roberts, no Mindscape. They've removed the credits.
They just snip that out.
Yeah, they literally just blank it out so you can't see it.
Okay.
And then here at the start screen, they've removed the text from the screen, so giving the copyright and saying Nintendo.
My But they put their copyright at the very first thing you see, though.
Yeah, they have that run an overlay through the emulator. And so here's
jeez.
Secret Mission Super Nintendo. We start off with the Mindscape logo forming in a little theater.
Mindscape.
Mindscape presents. And this is part of the intro. You then see this, and it opens up, and we see the little intro movie, which is original to the Secret Missions version, or the SNES version.
The Vega sector has fallen. But I thought we just saved the Vega sector.
No, it's from the perspective of the Kilrathi. You then, producer, remind me next week. I'll show the whole intro. But look, there's a Nintendo logo. There's Mindscape at the start screen. What do you think's gonna happen to the EA Replay version?
I think it's just going to go immediately to that start screen.
They even get the release date right for the Super Nintendo version, 93.
Oh, why is it? It's like zoomed in.
Yeah, it totally skips the Mindscape logo.
And we've also changed the scale, though. We're much.
You know what it is? It's the aspect ratio, because the PSP is so wide, and then Nintendo produces an almost square output.
Gotcha. Okay.
Vega sector has fallen. And look, no Nintendo, no nothing.
Wow, that's not shady at all.
Not at all.
If anyone would like us for evidence, we are more than willing to provide it for a strong legal fee.
And now, explosions!
Hey, I've seen that somewhere. Where is that?
Why, that's the fighter explosion from Wing Commander 2. And we have to credit Howard Day for figuring this out. Yeah. And it's fantastically cool and also sketchy.
Yes.
Fighter explosion from Wing Commander 2, or a TIE fighter hitting a Star Destroyer?
I don't know.
They have taken, for the explosions in Wing Commander 2, they took the laser disc of Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
They painted over the explosions, and that's where they came from. It's amazing to think that a couple years later, you have Wing Commander 3, which has its own pyrotechnics unit, second unit, with Adam Fashko. But there it is in action.
Oh, you are brave. You even played that clip. We're going straight down. Oh, my.
But both of the explosions in Wing Commander 2. So this is the capital ship explosion.
No!
Or is it Mon Cal Cruiser exploding when it gets hit by the Death Star?
Oh, no. Oh, my, you did it twice!
Did it twice,
Oh, my God. This show will be available in 2027 once we clear the copyrights.
So that was the thing we promised we'd show last week, and now we have.
And then it is.
Great artist steal, as the man himself says.
Borrow with no intent of returning.
And it's so interesting because you can see the line between when the industry becomes incredibly professional and the production process of Wing Commander 3 is. And the later Wing Commander games is part of what drives that.
Yeah.
But back then, your ship could be the Firefox from Firefox or the Gunstar, and nobody would say boo. Except Sierra. Sierra seemed to always be getting sued for dumb things.
Well, when you put the Batmobile in there, that tends to piss a few people off.
And ZZ Top sued them for having these little...
And Space Quest.
Yeah, and Space Quest. Radio Shack for calling the radio suck or something.
Yep.
There's a whole history of the companies going after Sierra for some reason.
They weren't really known for being that.
Meanwhile, Origin is like, we want our character to look like Mel Gibson. So he does.
I guess it's just, the Williams. I don't know what to tell you.
So here's another interesting thing.
Yes.
We talked last week about the Stealtech.
Yep.
And we actually have a lead on what the Stealtech might look like now.
Breaking news. So
one thing I was pulling out for, as we're going to do Privateer, we're going to talk about, we're going to show some of the concept art and the backstory and all that. So I was pulling through these... They had originally done an alternate set of art for the manual. They commissioned comic book artists and guys to do line art similar to claw marks.
Yep.
And then decided they wanted to go more futuristic and dropped all this stuff. But I have all this art archived and scanned. It's up on WC News, and we're going to share a whole bunch of it later. But I was looking through, trying to piece together what order it should go in when we show it. And I found a pretty interesting note in the very first set of it, which was... a note to this artist who was going to be doing this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
first there's two sets. First there's this, which was a rough sketch that somebody came back with and said, oh, this could be a new piece of art where it's an alien meeting a guy and just trying to scam him. This is not final art at all.
Is that why he's selling him a queso poop?
Yes, queso poop. This is somebody's rough. And this has kind of been known for years. People have even said, oh, is that a Steltech? And like, well, no, of course it's not a Steltech. It's some kind of aliens interacting with a person. And why would it be a Steltech? That was certainly my position until now.
Yeah, why would the Steltech be dumb enough to buy a suitcase full of poo?
But what I figured out was this actually comes later. What we have first is this.
Yes. Which
comes from an art request to this artist for an anatomical drawing of a SPAC-track, which was what the Steltech were called at that point in development.
That's not a great name.
With the note that they were, in fact, the storyline with the Steltech was going to be in the Special Operations add-on they were thinking about, not the main plot. So that all changed quite a bit from that point. But in 1992, this was what they were thinking a Steltech would look like. And he basically drew these concepts of it. And then at some point, they were kind of spitballing what new ideas they could have, and this guy out there, he hasn't played the game. He knows only what he has seen of do this. He said, oh, what if we did a piece like this? So he used the same alien, and that's why it looks like a SPAC-track. So that may be the Steltech, guys. We may have solved this thing.
Oh boy. One day we shall. I mean, it doesn't really look like the green thing in the comm screen. But
no, maybe it's in a pod or something. I don't know. Who knows how? I mean, maybe it does look like a green thing. Who knows?
Maybe that's their armor they're wearing or something. Who knows? It's an encounter suit.
And I wanted to pull this up just because I brought it up it was brought up in Discord the other day and we were talking about it. But one thing cut from Wing Commander Prophecy.
Yes, a very well-known thing.
Wing Commander Prophecy was originally going to have a big multiplayer focus, and you would have death matches and all sorts of matches and things like that. And to make that more interesting, they came up with these kind of unique weapons that the different ships would have. And as you play the final game, you can experience some of them.
You see it.
Yeah, the Wasp booster. If that would probably be much more interesting in a multiplayer game. You know, they kind of invent missions for it in Prophecy. Like, oh, for this once, the enemies are kind of close, but not close enough for Afterburner.
Yeah, so we need we need to launch this. Yep. Yeah. And having played multiplayer with the Wasp, I will say it is interesting when somebody does that because you're like, oh, well, we'll see them in 3 minutes when it burns out because they are across the battlefield.
Yeah. So it will be a neat thing to like, oh, I'm in trouble. Boosh! Here's my one booster.
And then the size of your ship shrinks considerably for dogfighting.
Yeah, your stats go down.
Yeah.
In addition to there's the plasma gun for the Devastator. You know, a very slow one hit, one kill gun, but you can't really aim it. You kind of have to be lucky or very good. And then there's a couple of those things that are supposed to distinguish the different ships. I just wanted to run through and point out a couple of them that have kind of been passed down in lore from developers over the years to kind of get it in the record here.
Yep.
One thing people often look at is the nose of the vampire there, because that's on all the key art. It's on the boxes and the soundtrack.
You see it.
And people are like, what is that thing? Is that one of the guns? The original idea was that the little circle thing on the nose of the vampire was going to be like an anti-missile system. So it would automatically shoot these flechettes out, and you would point the ship towards an incoming missile, and it would shoot it down, and that would be a big part of multiplayer because we would have a million missiles.
Yeah, that'd be that's what happens in regular Prophecy multiplayer now.
In fact, and that's the special weapon for the Tiger Shark. In fact, is the bunch of missiles, the rocket pods.
No, it's the Wasp. You're thinking the Wasp, the Stingers?
No, I'm thinking the Dragonfly.
The Dragonfly,
the Vietnam style, like million dumbfires at once.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so imagine the battle where you fill up the sky with those, and then somebody else has this thing, and they
empty it out.
Yeah,
they're plowing the road. Yeah. There you go.
And if you look closely at the Panther, it also has the same system.
Yep.
But the other interesting one is the Shrike here. This had two. The first was that if your ship was crippled, you could eject the front of the ship.
And there's no good way to point that because I was like,
can
you see our hands going to the screen?
So the front of the ship was supposed to be this pod that breaks off, and you fly around with. You have like one gun, and it's like your last-ditch survival thing.
Yeah.
The other thing is this. Can we show something like this?
Yes, we can.
The tube underneath, which fires missiles in the final game, was originally supposed to be a radar jammer. The thing that looks like a
torpecker is what they would call it.
The Devastator.
A Devastator. Well, thank God it wasn't a Vindicate. That was called the Vibrator. That was its old name. But we'll get to that in Mikhail's Navy one day.
And the last one is this, which actually made it into the manual in the Asia Pacific version of the game. It has if you look at the U.S. version of the ISIS manual, there's no bomb rack there because that's the thing that's cut from the game. But originally, there was going to be a weapon that was just like a space bomb, area type bomb.
Sure.
And there's a nice close-up render of it in case you ever wanted to see a null G bomb.
If anybody ever wants to invent a air-to-ground wing commander bomb, there's your prototype. Not really the thing I think about for space, but yeah.
So that was a whole lot of Afterburner stuff.
Uh-huh. Going back to cruising speed now.
The other one, the other thing I wanted to point out is consider not updating your GOG versions of the original Wing Commanders.
This is what we need a cry on that says
emergency!
Breaking news.
So GOG has gone and updated Wing Commander 1, Wing Commander 2, the earlier games for their cloud save feature, which is really cool. But
play it anywhere.
It is causing some problems with Wing Commander 1. Specifically, if you try to transfer your character from Wing Commander using the transfer thing, and then you get stuck in the old Spirit Dies bug, you can't undo it like you used to be able to by going in with WC View and editing it. So, yeah. Watch for that. If you run into that, that's why that's happening.
Yes.
And with that, it's time for the space news. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta.
We have the boop 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 sound.
We do. I just can't hear it.
I know. It's just one of those. I guess we need both. Even though it seems like overkill, it's never too much to have too much sounds.
Never too much to have two beeping sounds.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, our first story from WC News is a pretty interesting podcast called Broken Chair Scores, which has done an hour-and-a-half long cover of the Wing Commander 1 soundtrack, listening to both the Sound Blaster versions of the songs and the LA MIDI versions, and kind of commenting on their composition and impact and all this sort of thing, which is pretty interesting. It's really interesting to see people who don't necessarily know Wing Commander, but know music commenting on it, and I would encourage everybody to check it out. Story number 2. This has been uncovered from the archives, an internal document from Origin which covers their 1989 long-term plans. So this was before Wing Commander released and changed a lot of things. Mm-hmm. This was the schedule of games they were planning on developing, what product groups would get what. And at the most interesting revelatory thing about this was that at the time, the thought was to follow Squadron or Wing Commander with not Wing Commander 2, but take the same engine, use it to build a licensed Car Wars game. Car Wars was a Steve Jackson pen and paper game about post-apocalyptic cars that have guns and they fight, and it was a whole franchise at the time. Origin did a Car Wars licensed game called Auto Duel in 87 or 88, and so the thought was, Wing Commander is a big expensive project, but it's going to give us this technology that can let us do a car battle game. And who would have predicted that? So there's that. There's talk about a Star Wars licensed RPG that they had been talking with Lucas about at the time, because this was... It's hard to imagine, but back at that time...
It was a drought.
Lucasfilm, LucasArts, was not doing Star Wars games. They were doing stuff like Maniac Mansion.
Yeah.
And it's hard to believe that there was a point where people were like, we have Star Wars, but we're not interested in that.
We're going to let that sit for a while.
Most excitingly, the updated version of the Panther by Defiance Industries has been integrated into the model upgrade pack. Wing Commander Prophecy. This is the total conversion for Prophecy that just updates the quality and appearance of all the ship models. And boy, it looks like a cutscene now. That's pretty cool.
It's going to be great when they get a lot of that done and we can play through it.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do it here.
Yeah. Without question. We'll probably have to... I feel like we're pushing up Prophecy just for that.
We'll kind of figure out how you do a 3DFX card today.
Oh, that's a good call.
And last and also least, the Rotten Tomatoes website has put out a list of their top video game movies in terms of their tomato meter rankings, and Wing Commander comes in at a healthy ? 35.
Out of how many?
37. No, it's about midway. It's about midway down the list.
Don't you dare compare the Wing Commander movie to Midway. Those are not the same. Oh, they're about the same quality at times, though. They drive me crazy.
No, it's midway down the list of video games. And honestly, it probably should be higher because there are not many good video game movies.
No, there's not.
Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider was pretty good. Resident, and it's every single time you think one is good, it's always like, I guess it was fine. It wasn't as bad as it could be. And Wing Commander at least is interesting.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. It's entirely confusing in the final cut, but it's interesting. Anyway, you want to talk about Privateer 2 ships?
Any comments on the black quarter discs on wings on the Panther? Was there a slight visual change? I was not fully paying attention. I think they would talk about the back corners, those two. Are you asking what those things are? The two. I would call them like the hydrogen scoops.
Let me see if I can bring up a Panther. I've got one here somewhere.
You've broken it though, because I think he means those things.
I
always took those to be like inlets or something. I mean, I guess the inlets are really on top though on that engine.
I'm not sure what I've never really thought about that. I
always just took them as another part of the engine system.
Do they stay the same color when you change the squadron? We'll check into it and get back to you.
Yeah.
It's possible they're nothing, but...
they look like when you were talking about on the Shrike, it had a radar jammer. That's the same kind of color as the bottom.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is similar.
But it's like those are significantly bigger on the Panther.
Well, one of the great things about Prophecy is that almost everything has survived. There are reams and reams and reams of documents. So we actually can go back and check, individual meeting notes about this. So we will do some research and get back to you.
Yeah, we'll see what that is. Because it's one of those things that's always there, but I think you kind of just brush by it thinking, okay, it's just part of the,
I thought it was just like the leading edge of the wing, like the things on the side of the shuttle.
Okay. Oh, like heat panels or something.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Yeah, I always just thought of it as like engine components or something.
Well.
Hello.
Our old friend.
Hello, old gal. That was not.
No, that was terrible. That was the worst thing I've ever heard.
Thank you.
Well, what's our Privateer 2 ship of the week this time?
I believe it's a PL-04 Calrecci medium fighter.
Yes, it is.
Whoa! What a ship.
Chunky little guy.
It reminds me like of a weird Estes rocket. I guess.
I have a weird Estes rocket downstairs. I have the official 1984 licensed Dune Estes rocket. My brother got it for me for Christmas one year.
Oh.
It's the Estes Guild Highliner. So back when they were licensing weird crap for the Dune movie, thinking it was somehow not going to be a giant David Lynch movie, Estes somehow made Dune rockets. I'll show it next time, or I'll show it on the weekend. Riley and I are going to do a stream with just regular stuff. So anyway. This is the Calrecci medium fighter, and we talked last week a little bit about how this is kind of part of the Rosetta Stone for figuring out the lore of Privateer 2 ships, because it has a counterpart, which is the PL-4A Blade, kind of the Kindred fighters. And I'm going to show this to you right now, and you'll see the difference between them is interesting. They clearly are connected in some way. That's the Blade, Calrecci. There we go. Blade, Calrecci. Blade. So the Blade looks like a meaner version of the Calrecci.
It's a sleeker version.
Mm-hmm. There's the Calrecci, and it's like a big, beefy, friendly guy for our civilian.
With like a weird, low cockpit.
Yeah.
Which, hey, why would you want to be able to see behind you in combat?
And there's the Kindred, the Blade.
Yeah, I remember that. So
Calrecci Blade.
And that was funny. There, in their side silhouette, you really... you get the impression that obviously it's the same space frame that then gets some slight modifications. Like the wings get moved up. Yeah.
So, and there's the VDU image of it.
All you VDUs.
And here is a screenshot I found in some of the pre-release stuff where the ship in the game, the model there, is clearly the Blade in civilian markings.
Yep.
And it's labeled Gendavi.
Oh, okay.
Which is a different ship we'll see later. So there was some big change up in the Privateer 2 ships along development.
They probably just lost track of it and said, "Oh, it already all right. Let's just roll with it. Go with it."
The Blade is best known as a ship that appears in the intro, and there's a cool cinematic model, and you kind of really have to stare at it to figure out what it's supposed to be. But it is the Blade. It is the ship that comes and attacks Lev while the assassins are going after him, and then in the intro in the hospital, and it like helicopters down and shoots. Well, let's just watch the video.
I like how you're explaining it to me. I appreciate it.
Try and take it easy for the time being. If you overstress yourself,
There it is. Oh, hello. See, it's got like a attack chopper look to it.
Yeah, it's got a much thinner connection from the cockpit. It's one of those things I always like the Plunkett, It's a great heavy artillery cruiser, but then its engines are connected by power.
In fact, if you knew that was a Kindred ship at the start of the game, you might have a better idea going in what the plot is to the game. Of course, the Revelation is your connection to Kindred. So I imagine there are friends that play yeah, that's part of it. That's a really cool render. I wish we had that in high def. Or higher def.
Oh, apparently they gave the video
Sorry about that, guys.
Don't worry, you didn't miss anything except our silly commentary of us going back and forth about things.
Yeah, this is actually better without us.
Yeah, probably. It's probably much better without us.
I really do need to learn about levels. We're at the point in the show where I need to learn about audio.
Well, it's just one of those things that we should just auto mix it somehow, you know what I mean?
Well, all things in life I wish were something that would auto do it. And there it's flying away at the end. It's nice.
Well,
so I think what I was saying during this that you probably missed was if you happen to know that is the Kindred Blade fighter, then you actually have a lead on the plot of the game, which is the reveal of Lev's connection to the Kindred. Such as it is.
We have a question. Even though Privateer 2 wasn't originally set in the Wing Commander universe, are there any Easter eggs or connections to Wing Commander other than the late name game changes, like reference to events from the timeline? So things like the war, the Korathi War, or anything beyond the most famous reference we all know.
So the big one is that, and this was actually kind of planned before the name change happened, because Privateer 2 started off very, very, very early on as a Privateer 2. And it then went back to being the Darkening, and then Privateer the Darkening, and then Privateer the Darkening. But at the very, very start of the project, some of the look dev effort was to recreate some of the original Privateer ships in the engine. So when they finally had settled on Darkening and building that out, they built this mission series where you find a Talon from the original Privateer. It's the ubiquitous Talon. I'm sure we'll get our butts kicked by a couple of them later.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. This one.
And we're going to follow up next episode because there was actually more planned. You can look in the files of Privateer 2 and see that in the game that you play, there's one mission where you get an SOS and you have to go and find the Talon and you bring the pilot somewhere and you get an email back. But if you actually look in the files, there's a whole bunch of follow-ups about where this pilot is from and the actual connection to the Wing Commander universe that was cut late in the process. So we'll share all that with you next time. We'll show you the Talon and we'll that'll be fun.
The Talon. Yeah, I'm not. No, I'm trying to figure out what he's asking me.
Okay.
The Talon, the phylum, this one did not show. I don't know what that means, though. Here it says, right? Looks like they had no lift heat. The Talon, the phylum, this one did not. I don't know what you mean, Tarsus. Clarify for me and we'll figure it out. But anyways.
There are also a couple of other references. There's some references to the Confederation in the CCN booth system. There was a FAQ at Origins website that explained the position of the tri-system, get rid of everything else. And this is a weird one, but if you have the Spanish version of Privateer 2, the Catalan version with the subtitles. There is a subtitle background dialogue in the bar that mentions the Kilrathi.
Oh, there you go.
So
I got this one I was referring to. The most famous one is the Talon is the most famous reference from the regular the universe, the Wing Commander universe to like Privateer 2. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Although perhaps Joe the bartender Space Bug Gumbo is Nevilum meat.
Oh, well, that's
anyway. Back to the Calrechi.
Yum.
Here's the Calrechi. As far as we can tell, Calrechi is a Google nope. You search for Calrechi, you get Privateer 2 stuff.
Okay. So are we sure about that? Though we learned
as far as I could tell,
we Googled something earlier and learned something, but we'll save that for another show.
It's another. It's another one of those Privateer 2 names that is seemingly exclusive to Privateer 2, which is interesting. This thing costs 110,000 credits. It is the most expensive medium fighter on the market.
When I saw the note, I did not think that's. I thought that meant something else. I saw most expensive MF on the market, and I did not put medium fighter together.
Well, thanks for giving away my process. So it's part of the same low end of ships as we've been seeing all the time. In fact, this is the last of the PL line of ships. So we can restart our song next time.
Verse 2.
We talked about the blade and its connection. And in fact, going even further into that apparent name shift from the Gendavi, if you look through the ships in the CCN database, there is one Gendavi listed, and it's a C46326B.
Every time you say those, just rolls off the tongue better.
I've got a couple more in a bit, and if you look it up, it says it's Gendavi class, but it's a picture of a Karechi. So just something they didn't change yet. In terms of stats, compared to the Skeksis Mark II, same speed, same acceleration. It's a chunk more maneuverable, 75 DPS all around instead of 65.
Okay.
It has worse shields, about 30 units down, but it has massively better armor by basically a third. It goes from 500 to 750.
That's good.
It adds a gun mount, so this is a quad shooter. Loses a missile mount, 4 missiles. But it also has spacing in that nice big hole, spacing for 6 different components.
There you go.
And going through the default NPC options, it is armed with 4 mass ion cannons, which is one of the guns that is only available after you see a briefing.
Okay.
So it seems like it's a more advanced ship. It's using newer weapons and things than the ships we've seen so far. Our default missiles, we've got a Python, a Snipe, and a Brute. It's actually 2 Pythons. The Snipe is level 1, the Brute Mark II is level 3, and the Pythons are level 5 and level 7 to unlock. And last and also least, Decoy Mark II. So we're up in decoys also.
Yep, starting to stack them.
Yeah, and high-X mines. And the NPC version leaves the rest of those beautiful slots open.
Thank you.
Yeah. And this is the art that's used for the one that is improperly named, by the way.
Gotcha.
But so we know that it entered service at least 8 years before Privateer 2 starts, and the booth entries are kind of weird for this because they kind of imply that it's going out of service now or it's becoming less popular.
Okay.
And you're gonna laugh at me now because I'm gonna read the things.
I saw those. Yep.
So this one here, the gray one, is E647 543K, which is private vessel license travel anywhere within Confederation non-restricted space, 8 years service. That's our normal one.
Yeah, just rolls off the tongue.
Then this nice yellow one.
Not bad.
This is M345 656H. And the entry simply reads files out of date.
Okay. Somebody forgot to pay their bills.
And this cool blue one.
What a weird, blurry paint job.
It's W266003S.
Of course.
Private craft, which has just been decommissioned. License passed on to owner.
Okay, so that's interesting. I wonder what's going on with the purple spray paint.
It's cool. It's like a racing one, maybe.
Oh, yeah. The stripes make it go faster, like the flames. Whoa!
So we have one wingman who flies the Calrechi naturally.
Okay.
And his name is Eustace Sutilis.
Sure, I'll roll with that.
Yeah.
You're the fancy English guy. I'm gonna roll with it.
I don't think that's English.
Nope, I don't think so either. But you did a very good job on that, sir.
But he is he's a marksman is his background basically, and supposedly he's a good wingman because of that. He uses small arms use.
Sure, he's got a pistol with a giant barrel and a scope.
The most interesting thing about this one is that this was the team's IT guy who they posed with the pistol and
the ridiculous gun.
Yeah.
And that clearly very serious guy with business in the front and party in the back.
Now this Gexus appears in one mission, which we've talked about before.
That's the Calrechi.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry.
You didn't Oh my goodness!
Yeah. I said the wrong ship name. I'm sorry.
50 lashes. 50 privateer, 2 lashes
That's
for you,
fair.
sir.
That's totally fair. The Calrechi appears in the mission where Count Perry.
Yeah, good luck.
No, I'm trying to. I have the names here, but I'm trying to. Basically, you are hired to be the second for Baron Conrad.
There you go. Yeah, it's a great. Because it's a duel. I
know, and he has you go and duel in his place. He goes and duels Count Perrymore, and you're supposed to go kill him. And if you win, then you get double crossed by the other 2 seconds, who Monty Pride and Curtis Blatch. They're both flying Calrechi, and 3 more Calrechi attack you. So you basically have to fight off 5 Calrechi.
Whoa! Nobody should have that much Calrechi.
And that is the only appearance of the ship in.
I remember that mission actually when they screw you over with like the 3,000 double crosses.
There's a lot of double cross missions in Privateer. It was always a good way to add a little bit of extra mission. So I'll just take this guy out very briefly.
Show him around.
As was before, we've set up a save game with with this ship. I'll load it out in NPC fashion. Calrechi. Let's leave Hephaestus.
Once you get Hephaestus, it never leaves you. Even though they tell you to take the pill, it doesn't do anything.
I don't think so, Tim.
Oh, I didn't realize we were going down
Missile.
God.
Impact.
We had a transport. Well, we had a transport.
Chirichian shuttle. Can I cause any damage? Nice.
Nope.
It landed.
Oh, he landed?
Yeah, it landed on the well.
Whenever I saw the military medium, it always made me think of the Banshee.
We have apparently accidentally shot the military. Because now they're out to get us.
I think somebody you killed. I don't know. I don't think you shot anybody, though.
No, because I chased down that one demon, and I must have hit the transport while I was. But you see, these quad shooters are nice. These guns are much nicer than the default ones we've seen already.
Yeah, you're mowing through people this time. That was the other weird thing about Privateer 2 is the love of the shuttles.
The shuttles are everywhere. Yeah.
Shuttle everywhere. Yeah, it was one of the weird things, and sometimes those shuttles are pretty seriously armed and armored.
They're also cruisers. If you get to a point later in the game, you can have cruisers instead of shuttles, and they are real big.
Yes, they are.
Oh, you see this? This military destroyer has knocked down my front armor in like 2 hits.
Forward armor critical.
Anyway, it's the Calrechi.
Well, you should
kind of bland.
Give him. I say, give him the outside view. We gotta give him the.
I did it. I got that.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And very flat underneath. It's almost like a Lego ship.
Yeah. It's like I was feeling kind of creative, but not that creative. So here's my homework. I did at lunch.
I like it. It has a homey feel to it. And I love the connect. The thing that really excites me is the connection to the blade.
The blade's definitely the nicer ship too.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Kindred must pay the.
And so did everybody jump out on you? Because now you're trying to kill yourself and nobody.
Gotta fight this thing.
It's coming in hot.
There, I fired all my missiles at it. Remote.
I think. What do those missiles do? Did they all just drop in space and not fire? What the hell happened?
No, they move forward.
I didn't see them fly forward.
Yeah,
there they are. My eyes are deceiving me.
Why is the destroyer able to outrun me?
Because you're in a Calrechi, dude. You should know that.
Anyway. That's
Look
the
at this. The Calrecci's so crappy you can't even kill
Good,
yourself.
you can't even get yourself killed in this town.
Oh my god.
Well, you know what this means.
It's this time again, which is
This time.
Let's.
Oh, Privateer 2's got a lot of spaceships.
Privateer 2's got a lot of spaceships. Privateer 2's got a lot of spaceships.
Early in the morning. Beginner Straight looks like some hot dogs.
Beginner Straight looks like some hot dogs. Beginner Straight looks like some hot dogs.
Early in the morning. Malaysia Light Fighters quite well endowed.
Malaysia Light Fighters quite well endowed. Malaysia Light Fighters quite well endowed.
Early in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
Skexy looks just like Starbird.
Skexy looks just like the Starbird. Skexy looks just like Starbird. Early in the morning. Keeps going.
Oh, Skexis 2's got 3 times the pylons.
Skexis 2's got 3 times the pylons. Skexis 2's got 3 times the pylons.
Early in the morning. The Calrecci hides a secret blade.
The Calrecci hides a secret blade. The Calrecci hides a secret blade.
Early in the morning. All right, we did it. That is the end of the PLs. Next week we will be doing the PR01 Aurora, and for a brief time we will restart the song
because it's
long.
long.
We'll do the PRs separately, and then finally at the end when we get to all 18, we'll do it. So
we will probably have a show just for singing the song because it will take us 45 minutes.
Absolutely.
Ugh.
So, are you ready for this?
Bam!
Oh!
Row 2.
That feels earned.
Row 2. You know what else feels earned? Our producer saying, oof. Thank you. Thank you. You're right. Because at one point, I like how you also started saying blade, and then at the end it was just blade. The soul just kind of fell out for the Calrecci.
I'm not singing.
Yeah. No. After that long, then it's like you're not faking it, then you're actually singing. Like you can't fake it for that many verses. All right, now it's the big reveal.
The big deal. You want to talk about some Privateer?
I want to talk about some Privateer.
All right, let's jump over to our...
With all the great Privateer sounds, right? You can close your eyes and hear the... You're now entering an automatic landing zone.
So, Privateer. What is it? Why do we care? Well, boy, did you come to the right... I don't even know.
Good effort, good try.
Good, yeah.
So you say, so, Mr. Burroughs... Why have you brought yourself to our establishment?
Privateer. This is the game we're going to be talking about here.
Yes.
So, the top level, explain this to an executive like he's an idiot thing, is Wing Commander is Luke Skywalker, Privateer is Han Solo.
Ah, okay.
Basically, it is the first open world Wing Commander game. It borrows a whole lot from the original Elite.
Yep.
But, instead of being a fighter pilot off fighting the enemy and taking orders, you have your own private spaceship and you are trying to make your way in the galaxy, making money in various ways. And, you earn money to upgrade your ship and get your fortune and so on. Yeah. So, Privateer. Whew. Privateer first began development in 1992 as a possible tech follow-up to Strike Commander. The idea was that Strike Commander was going to be this big, expensive project, but as part of that, it would develop this engine that, much like Wing Commander could have gone on to make a Car Wars game, or Ultima could go on to make Martian Dreams, they could take this tech and they could make this very affordable. They could use the Strike Commander tech to make this game idea.
Sure.
That didn't quite work out because Strike Commander took longer than expected, and Privateer went into development with the previous engine, the original Wing Commander 1 and 2 engine instead.
Okay.
Not real space, Origin FX we call it sometimes.
Okay. Which wasn't a bad thing. I mean, it produced a wonderful thing for us.
Yeah, it ran on our computers. That was another big deal. It did not have quite the system requirements of the later games.
There you go.
But Privateer, for me, is a game that fires on every single cylinder.
Yes.
It is... Privateer 2 I love because it is a crazy experience. It's like nothing else I've ever had. Privateer 2 is like putting on a warm glove, whatever that means. But it's like coming home. You're in the Wing Commander universe, but it's so much bigger and broader, and there's so much possibility. You're seeing it from a different perspective, and it really does do that. Suddenly the Comfeds are sometimes the bad guys. They're the cops who are...
they're the guys who are always trying to scan your stuff.
And the Kilrathi are genuinely scary instead of a matched opponent. It's a really, really neat game, and it's perfectly in the Wing Commander universe. It is the game, I would say, that made us feel like there could be a bigger Wing Commander universe.
Without question.
Wing Commander 1 is the story, Wing Commander 2 continues the story. Privateer opens the story up to everybody.
Yes.
Everybody can have their story in the Wing Commander universe because of Privateer. So we got a couple slideshows first before we jump into the game, because I want to talk about the making of it and some of the history behind it.
Most certainly.
So... this was the first announcement of Privateer, the original marketing slip that Origin sent off to buyers to let them know that they were developing this new Wing Commander game. At the time, it was called Trade Commander. It had a whole bunch of different names early in development. Trade Commander was one. Free Trader was one. All sorts of different things. That's not uncommon for a game, but it is a little bit more unusual for a game to be announced and then change the name. But you know what other game did that? Wing Commander, which was announced as Squadron Wing Leader and came out as Wing Commander. So this is the initial 92. This was sent out to folks to let them know what was in development, and you can see there's some of the very early concept art. That was the initial concept art for the box art. Stiletto battling a Centurion.
Yeah, and the previous one, what was that? Was that New Constantinople?
New Constantinople, yeah.
Yep, yeah, the cause.
So cool stuff.
Look at that, huh?
This is an unused cutscene still. There was a cutscene where Galaxy would have battled demons, and this showed up in a lot of magazines, but it was cut from the final game. This shipped on 6 3.5-inch discs, which is not a lot of space.
No.
Most people are familiar with the CD version, which added full speech and is about 80 megs, but you had to get every functional part of Privateer into, 10 megabytes, I think, 10 or 11 megabytes. And it's so that there was a whole lot of stuff they developed and cut. There was stuff they planned for that was cut, and we'll talk about all that sort of stuff in the coming weeks.
Do you know what cockpit it was in the earlier shot, or was it not in that one?
That one? I don't. That looks like a Tarsus cockpit.
Yeah,
but
kind of
one of the things we'll have in just a moment is the original concept art for the cockpit. So
it was a question from the crowd.
Oh, okay. Hi, crowd. I think that was supposed to be the Tarsus.
Gotcha. That I have to say, that demon that's attacking it was insanely, like, seeing that much detail on the back end of it is insane. Like, it looks really good.
Everything in Privateer was rendered as a high-res 3D object and then rendered out as bitmaps to store in the game. So there are nice high-resolution Privateer ships out there. I just threw this in. This is the Origins 1994 upcoming catalog, which I think is where I saw Privateer first. The first time I saw Privateer was I had just moved home from France with my family. I was super into Wing Commander, and there was this flyer at Egghead Software that had upcoming games, Wing Commander Academy and Privateer. Ooh. And that was like, oh my god.
Welcome home to America.
It was like, wow. No, it seemed amazing. I was so excited. And then I learned that you needed a 386, at least a mid-range 386 to play Privateer, which I did not have myself.
Oh, no.
So, when Privateer came out, I bought my copy with my saved up money. I would carry the manual to school. I would make up lists of, this is what I'm going to have in my ship when I can play, and so on. But I did that thing that kids do where they beg their mothers, and I need it for school, and I need multimedia. And so it was like, well, you have a savings bond, and we can take that out, and we can buy you a computer, which they did. Got a Gateway 486-66. I was briefly the power user in my home, outpacing my dad very, very briefly. And one of the first things we did was play Privateer with that beautiful speech, the intro, and it changed my life.
Oh, that's funny. And then your mom said, Benjamin, what homework are you doing on there? Mom, play Privateer.
But back then, even the homeworky stuff seemed like so cool. I think the computer came with like Microsoft Dinosaurs.
Oh my god.
And Encarta. Remember
Of course, Encarta.
How exciting was using Encarta for the first time?
Yeah, loading into a CD-ROM.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Or Groliers if you were really fancy.
Here's some of the advertising.
Those beautiful Perry.
Mm-hmm. There's that original box concept. This is the team shirt designed by the late Paul Steed. The story goes that Paul Steed saw the shirt that they did for the Wing Commander 2 team, which is this huge plastic artwork of the Tiger's Claw getting attacked by Straka.
Yep.
And he thought it was so terrible. He was like, I'm going to design the shirts from now on. And all of his designs are cool. He did this one. He did a totally awesome Wing Commander Academy, like Academy logo. Producer, remind me next week to show the Paul Steed Academy shirt.
We'll be showing them the worst shirt of all time, though, a few weeks ago with the god-awful Wing Commander 3 shirt.
Yes.
With the
it's very similar to the Wing Commander 3 shirt.
Ooh, that's tough. That's like bulletproof vest material. Who's that?
That is our player character, who we now call Grayson Burroughs.
Yeah.
And this is something I think I talked about last week about there's kind of this fan thought process where it's like, oh, this tiny fact is interesting, so I'm going to blow it up everywhere.
Yes, we talk about this in Wikipedia articles.
Yeah, so he has no name in the game. You put your name in the game, and there's never a point where you get like a Blair-style name.
Yeah.
The name Grayson Burroughs is one of several ones that were used in early pitches. There's Grayson Burroughs, Aaron Burton, but Grayson Burroughs has kind of been accepted as the main one because of that Trade Commander document I showed, which starts off saying, oh, Grayson Burroughs is here forever. So it was actually published, so it's canon, but it's not interesting. It's the slightest fact, but everybody knows him as Grayson Burroughs since then. I found that document.
Yep.
Anyway, this is a page I did for the Wing Commander Arena Manual for Electronic Arts.
Star Soldier.
Yes, this was the back cover.
Yep.
The artwork up there where he looked kind of mean and older was an early version of the character created for the game that they decided to de-age. And the specific note is make him look more like young Van Damme.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes. But I figured, this could be his mugshot 20 years later.
He looks angry. Where's my damn gun?
Yeah. So I got to do a privateer joke in there.
Yeah. There's a few in there, though, right? You work in his alternate name.
Oh, yeah. His alternate name is in there. The Steltic gun is... All that stuff is in there.
Yep. Of course, Grayson Burrow, brown eyes.
So here are some of the original privateer ship sketches. I don't know how many folks have seen these. Probably not that many, but they're pretty interesting. You got the Orion, the Tarsus, and this is that early concept phase, just like we saw the Privateer Online stuff that was never used. This was how Chris Douglas and the 3D guys mocked up the ships before they rendered them. Galaxy, another Centurion, another take on the Centurion. You can see, there's slight differences. Yeah, they're getting the shape language out.
Yeah, they're making it look faster.
Mm-hmm. This is a ship that was cut from the game. It was the Speeder, so it was going to be like a faster option, a racing style ship.
That actually, the standoff guys actually worked that in.
Yeah, they have it as like a info runner or something.
Oh, it's one of the civilian ships during, well, not to spoil fleet action, but when we get further into book club, there will be a lot of civilian ships, and they use it as one of the ones during that key moment in the Battle of Terra.
This one is simply labeled dumb. So,
well, I mean, it kind of is. I mean, why has it got weird arms and like what's with the missile launcher at the bottom? Oh,
there's the Steltic. It's called Scout there, but it's actually the drone.
Yep.
And here are the cockpits.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, these are pretty cool. The cockpits in Privateer 2, Privateer, these were the first Wing Commander cockpits that were rendered in 3D.
Okay.
The reason for that was that Strike Commander required a 3D cockpit. If they had been going to use a Strike Commander engine, they would have had the mouse look around the cockpit. So they rendered the cockpits in 3D, and then they ended up just rendering them out and doing paintovers to have a more traditional gameplay implementation. But that would have been the Spears cockpit.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it's neat stuff. The Centurion. Yeah, we're back to the start. I also have here these. I wanted to share these. Well, some naked ladies. I want to share that's a Paul Steed. This is part of a massive collection that has luckily been preserved from Privateer of storyboards. They boarded all of the game flow stuff in the game before they rendered it out. and you'll recognize most of these.
One of the funny things about privateers you don't always notice in the bar, the drunk guy passed out at the table, and he's not always at the same table. Like they have it in the sketches in the front, but in a lot of times he's in the back corner, just passed out.
So yeah,
look at all those.
These are all on the CIC if you're interested in looking at them in detail, which is totally worthwhile because these look so much like the final sets they build, and they build them in 3D and then render them out as 2D images and edit them. But these look so accurate to what finally comes out, except like here they don't have the ships yet. So one of them is the Millennium Falcon. In fact, you'll see they draw the Falcon as the example ship a lot.
I mean, if you're gonna draw one, you might as well draw, right?
You're gonna draw a spaceship.
It'll be the Falcon.
Let's see if I can find one of those. I just stuck all these in there. I figured this would break sooner than it had.
I'm actually amazed. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm surprised it didn't break before then. That was quite a few slides.
Yeah, I think I had like 84 of those in there.
Jesus, and you put them in one slide. You're a brave man.
What's this?
Oh, this is not the Doom Marine or the Marathon Cyborg. He predates them, as we discovered. This is, I believe, this is supposed to be the player character at one point.
This is just a mercenary.
Oh, sorry.
I mentioned much earlier in the show that the Privateer Manual, and in fact here I have a copy of the game.
Yes.
You're going to see what's in the box.
Of course. Some space. Look at that. You
get this absolutely beautiful player's guide.
Yes,
a great setup for what I'm going to talk about right now.
Yep.
But if you look at this, you'll see that it's pretty much all
your standard
screenshots. It's screenshots. It has kind of the same content as a Claw Marks or something. It's in universe. You know, it's in reviews of the ships from the Space Magazine. But as they originally imagined, they were going to do this in a much more, Steve Jackson Claw Marks line art sense. They would have drawings of the ships instead of renders from the game.
Yep.
And they went so far as to commission all sorts of art for the manual. Just copious amounts of line art from an artist in New York City, Greg Fullender, that was unfortunately never used. And one of the big things in this manual is the story. Unlike any other Ring Commander manual, this sets the stage for the game with a pretty dense, 8-page short story. It's a 5,000-word short story that introduces your character and how they got to the Gemini sector. And it's not referenced in the game at all.
Nope.
It's just literally getting you to the point that the game starts. And
when you first open it.
I remember, I don't think I read this for a couple of years after I got the game because it's pages and pages of text.
So can I just say that when you open it, I was like, oh my god, he's gonna sit there and say he read that story 50 times when he first got it. I did the same thing. For several years after I was like, what the? Yeah, no, I'm not reading this big block of text.
And then I loved my first copy of this manual to death, and I remember dipping into it, okay, interesting.
Yeah, and then,
but I don't think I ever read it narratively all the way through because it's
dense.
Really dull looking.
Yeah, it's just like this does not scream excitement, and I'm glad that we shared that because I also was like. I think at first I was like, oh, okay, that's installing or whatever, and flip by to look at the cool stuff behind it.
But one of the really cool things that we discovered in this art archive is that among all this manual art was 30 comic book panels to tell this story that we're supposed to break it up and
would have made
make it seem interesting.
Would have got both of us who are not small Wing Commander fans, and we were like, yeah, no.
So I have that art here. This would have been the cover of the in-universe part of the manual. And this would have been the start of this was supposed to be the player character. This was supposed to be the start of his story. Yep. And this is him and his captain Kane, who is you start off serving on this transport called the Scarab. You're part of a crew of 20 or so, and you're ferrying supplies out to this distant science base. And you have Kane, who's this kind of father figure, and you have a bunch of random crewmen, Hank and Jake and everybody. And here's the Scarab headed to Shoal Science Base, where your girlfriend Jo lives, and it's this distant base that's studying jump points. And the Scarab is ferrying cargo out, and the story opens with Kane is saying, "I'm nervous. I was supposed to have lunch with the captains who did this run previously. They're old friends from when I was in the Navy, and they weren't there. Did they stand me up? What happened?" And they're like, something mysterious is going on at this base. It's far from far
I
from
do have
anywhere.
to say, the Scarab looks a lot like a Privateer 2 ship there, doesn't it, Tom?
Well, I think it looks like a scarab beetle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it kind of looks like a Danker a little bit, like, from the cover.
So here's the scarab arriving at the base. Kane is paying off the scientist who has bought these supplies.
Very sciencey looking.
And here's your girlfriend Joe. Joe is mad at one of your crewmen who is just standing there being a badass guard instead of helping to unload. And there's an argument, and your character, who's apparently named Grayson Burroughs, he's not named that in this, comes off and says, "Oh no!" He works it out, and then we meet Joe, who is his space girlfriend.
Does Joe have robot legs?
Not in. I think they're just sci-fi legs,
Okay.
like space boots of some sort.
Just curious.
Yeah, she's a scientist studying jump points, and you guys go and
Racquetball?
have some play some space racquetball, which actually is a game that shows up throughout the Wing Commander canon.
I mean, racquetball's a great game, you know?
So then you and Kane go and talk to the administrator of the station, a guy named Lars. And Lars is like, "I don't know what happened to the other Draymans that were supposed to be here. They never reported in. But we've got some strange signals from this nearby whatever." And so you're like, "Okay, we'll investigate that." Then you go to your quarters, and we find out that
You're King Neptune?
you get a holographic message from your grandfather.
That's right.
And this is flashing back to your grandfather when he was a kid. Where you were a kid and he was your father figure. And this message, it turns out this message is his last will and testament.
Yep.
And he's saying, and it's this grizzled cowboy type thing, like, "Well, I guess I'm dead now," which I was gonna do for the promo, but then we had a whole thing and couldn't do a promo on Tuesday, so I'll do it next week. I was gonna do the old age makeup again. It was.
We will re-promo because we would
have been too good.
Yes, we've been 2 weeks without it. We will make sure to do an extra good one next time.
So he's like, "Well, I'm dead now, but I've always wanted you to see the frontier, so I've left you everything. I've left you my money and my ship, a Tarsus that I got when I was exploring the Gemini sector. Come see here. This is the Confederation at its best. The old." Come to Texas story.
Yep.
So your character is like, "Do I really want to do that? I've got a life here. I've got a space girlfriend. I've got a space dad. Everything's going good for me." But suddenly everything is not going good for him.
Oh no! What has gone wrong?
It turns out that the base is under attack by the Retros, the Church of Man, the folks who do not like humans to have technology.
Die by the very weapons you adore.
So they attack the base, and they. Your ship, you try to escape, basically. You're separated from them. Your ship gets hit. Kane is killed when something falls and crushes him on the bridge. A constant problem in sci-fi bridges.
Yep, stuff falling from above.
So the Retros take over the station. The Scarab limps away. You can see it looks like a beetle there. And Joe is stuck on board. Your character thinks about how she'll be killed, and you're in the turret gun Star Wars style, shooting off at these talons.
Don't get cocky, kid.
So here's Kane has been destroyed, killed on the bridge.
Jesus, look at those sharp objects on the bridge.
You take over command of the ship and you pilot it to safety. Meanwhile, Joe
is dual wielding.
Yeah, she fights to the end on the station.
Oh.
But you barely get away with your life. They bury Kane in space, just like an alien. And they finally decide that the ship is a lost cause. You hire passage on a galaxy off to the Gemini. You're like, okay, well,
yep.
I'm headed to the Gemini sector now. There's a subplot that is cut from the story that's in the manual, which there art here for, where your first mate is a guy named Jake who is mad at you because you don't pay him enough. And this is you realizing that the Scarab is a lost cause.
But you're not a captain. Oh, I guess this is
yeah,
afterwards.
Yeah, you hire Jake to fly you to Gemini, and then you don't have money for him.
Yep.
And when it turns out there's not that much in your inheritance, and you fight him, and
you kill him.
You just strangle him, and he runs away. And this is your guy realizing, here's my Tarsus, which is where the game opens. You open on your Tarsus on the landing pad, and you look in your mission thing for a mission. And you go to the space bar, and you
see drunk people. Some very apparently
drunk guy. Yeah.
I guess there's issues about over service in the Gemini sector, as in they don't care.
And then the lady there at the bar is the one who does the interview, Chandra Kar. So,
but where is Joe? Joe's dead on the
Joe's
station.
dead. Joe did not survive. She was left. You couldn't save her.
Oh, you're a jerk.
No, he's a privateer guy, of course.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, that's right. He always hits on everything else that moves, so it's okay. I don't think Joe, you really didn't want to spend time with him.
So that was my setup for privateer.
Yes.
I mean, we have all sorts of other stuff. I figured I'd show you over time. We've got the add-on Righteous Fire came out the next year. It tells an even more exciting story. We'll play that for sure.
We definitely will.
What else do we have here?
Yeah, you want me to hold those up?
Oh, yeah. You can.
This is our big box.
Disc came out in 1993, late 93.
So here's your regular disc one.
Righteous Fire.
Righteous Fire with its famous logo.
Like a lot of games at the time, it shipped with what is called a speech accessory pack. A lot of Origin games at the time, anyway. Following in the footsteps of Wing Commander 2, let's say.
Yep.
It shipped with a speech accessory pack, which gives you speech from flight comms. Not mission-specific ones, but just like enemy pilots, friendly, stuff in space, but not mission stuff.
This is what puts us out of work as voice actors.
Yes.
And that's what that does.
They followed Privateer the next year with Privateer CD-ROM. This is the version that almost everyone has played. And the reason for that is that it was, for a time, the single most sold OEM game. An OEM game is where a game is bundled with a piece of hardware. So, you buy a joystick and it comes with the game. You buy a new computer, it comes with the game.
Yep.
Privateer CD was huge for that.
Yeah, that's how I got it.
Yeah, everybody had that. And it was quickly available in all sorts of different classic editions. There's one of them.
I'll say you probably had the same one. A copy of it. I had the Righteous Fire Privateer CD and then Strike Commander split disc.
Yes. So that was something else.
Yes, I got that with a Gateway 2000, along with Armada.
Yeah, Gateway had something called a flight pack that had Privateer and Armada.
That's what I got.
And it was everywhere. Privateer was everywhere for a time.
Yes, which is fantastic because it's such a fantastic game.
So I'm going to start up the game itself, and you guys are going to have to let me know about sound because I don't know what I'm doing.
That's right.
We'll start watch the intro.
Yep.
I know we showed this recently, but
you have to show it. Otherwise, we won't know who's the fly scene.
Books. Here's the
Playtester's
the
Guide.
Privateer Playtester's Guide by the great David Ladyman.
Yep, a great guide. All the extra guides are great for the early games.
Yeah. It has maps of every system, probabilities for encountering enemies. It's a good one.
What is it, huh? Is it a smuggler far off the normal station?
And here's a truly cool, weird one.
Bad
Which,
smuggler
before I
with
even
some
said
nice
before,
contraband.
this is the German Privateer unofficial
Sorry,
guide,
boys.
and
I'm
it is
just
a
a tourist
beauty.
with a frag nav console. Could you tell me
Full
where I
color,
am?
Deep in trouble, little tourist.
profiles
Whoa.
for all the different characters.
Bartender profiles. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
it literally is, you show them.
Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, we got, so it's got all of your components. Oh, I gotta wait, this one's delayed. So I'm watching this out there. It's on the screen, sorry guys. Oh, it shows it's got different BDUs for all our different bounty hunters. Several seconds
And listen to those sound effects, that music. I'm running this with a General MIDI emulator, but the music supports GM and GS MIDI, and it's wonderful. Like I think Nina Rugerneck did it. It's so atmospheric. It's not like Wing Commander music, but it's so appropriate.
It is, but it is though. It's like when you hear those tones, you immediately know what's going on, right? Like you hear that, you know, oh, I'm entering an automatic landing zone, or oh, I'm on a base.
Yeah, the sound design is next generation compared to Wing Commander 1 and 2.
So here's our sponsor for the evening, Home Appliances. I hope it showed up.
So that's our intro, which is really just this kind of taste bit where we're that's what my name is Ben.
Oh, Taxi für den Monkhaus. I guess that means you take Dr. Monkhouse from one system to another.
Now in the here's my Quine 4000 computer.
Yeah.
Again, nice prediction of the future. It's kind of like my iPad. But if
Yep.
any of you folks out there who do 3D printing, please do a phone case that's the Quine. I don't care if it's awful. I will carry this for everything.
I was going to say for an iPad it'd be even better because then it's like ridiculous and big and bulky.
Well, I mean, yeah, but just imagine putting your phone right
there
in
the
there.
Quine, yeah.
So in the original game, there was no speech for the bartenders and the mission fixers and so on.
Yeah.
So it would matter what your name was. They would refer to you as Captain Whoever or your call sign.
Yeah.
Since they had to re-edit it for
speech pack
for the CD. The CD version doesn't have that, so it's almost meaningless that we have our name in there. But
yeah, it means just for your computer, basically.
So here we are in our game flow screen, and this is one of the great dump you in a game flow screen moments, just like Wing Commander 2 coming out of that out of the train sim. Here you are on a lonely asteroid base. This beautiful music. Your clunker of a ship. The file's literally called clunker.whatever, bundled in the game, and it's a base to explore.
Yeah. Here we go. The first concourse.
It feels so good. It is.
It really is like coming home, and we got some people walking around.
Yeah, there's these animation cycles that there's people. There's a little car, and all the bases have this. The first time I got my SC55, which is the MIDI module that plays the music, rolling music like this, I would just leave the game on bases overnight, and it would play this atmospheric music. It's so good.
It is very good.
And here we have all these different services.
So we have our different choices, right?
Let's take a little tour. Commodity exchange is, there's different ways to make a living in Predator. You can go and be a bounty hunter, you can be a pirate, or you can just ship things from place to place. There's gameplay for boring people, which I love because I'm a boring person. I'm not that boring, but there's gameplay for boring people.
Yeah, whatever version if you want to slow burn this sucker, and just figure I'm gonna putt around, you can do it, or you can make it as exciting as you want.
Yeah, you can go whole hog or not, and the different bases have different commodities, and it's just like trading stocks. Of course, it'll be affordable. It would be good to buy ores at a mining base and then sell them at a refinery, or food at an agricultural base and sell that at a mining base. And you triangulate, you figure out the best routes, and there's very deep gameplay there.
That's one of my early starting strategies. I'll go get 3 mission computer missions, and then I will also make sure that if I start on a mining base, I will end on the agricultural base, and then I will reverse the process. So it's always giving me a few extra 100 credits.
So and that's all right here. And this is not a painting. This is 3D rendered, not 3D rendered by the game, but it was rendered by Origin and then used as a static background.
Those cool. We got fabrics, we got guns, I love how the drugs are right there out front, though, right?
Yeah.
Ultimate Brilliance Tobacco, all right there.
There's even a little bit of lore in the manual to explain that, about how it's not illegal to sell things, it's just illegal to ship them. And
it's like the old prohibition thing.
Yeah. It's a beautiful game.
I know it's hard to how do you go
how do
through
you
this?
start? Where do you start in Privateer? It's so deep.
Yeah, and most of us have spent hundreds of hours probably on this.
So these are their guilds for the different career paths, which will give you special missions if you join the guild. Each one, I think, is like 2,000 credits to join the Merchants Guild.
Hi, how are you? I'd like to invite you to join our guild. We broker for the most reputable clients. That means we guarantee your work and your compensation. The Merchants Guild primarily schedules cargo runs, but we also place big bounties on pilots that attack our own members.
Handshakes.
It will only cost you 1,000
The screen's
credits
going to lower
to
and a
join our
hand's
ranks.
going to appear.
How about it?
Hey!
I'm not going to join the Merchants Guild right now.
You
have on $5.
But theoretically, if I join that, he'll give me missions that pay better than that are specific to merchants and that pay better. And there's this lady in the Mercenaries Guild.
Hey, love your dad, Saddam Hussein.
Oh yeah, these I have the textures for this, and they're fantastic. We should show them next episode. Producer. But there's like a sex lady, and there's a picture of Saddam Hussein. This is love your dad. There's an ad for guns, and if you look at the original files, all these little dots are actually text.
Oh, nice.
It's fun. There's fun stuff in Privateer. I don't know why it's Saddam Hussein, but it is.
I mean, well, it's 1992, so it's just after, Desert
We
Storm.
guarantee the best mission.
That's true.
And
Yes,
the
they
best
probably
pay.
did,
Why is he our
However,
dad?
I regret to inform you that our records indicate that
probably
you lack the
because
5,000
no,
credits
this would've been
required to
before
join the
Bush. I have
guild.
no idea.
Come back and
I
see
have
me
no
when you can
explanation.
afford our
There's
services.
no way to know. So yeah, and of course, when you're a 13-year-old boy in 1993, she's pretty neat.
Yep, there's some boobs.
Especially the bartender, the
Yes.
Pleasure Planet bartender.
Yep.
And speaking of bars, so
we're
bars are
drunks.
just like Strike Commander. If there is a plot mission, there would be somebody sitting here at the front, and you would click on them. But for the most part, it's for bartender rumors, and there's like 100, 150 different rumors that are. Some of them are accurate, some of them are not. Some of them are intended to mislead you. Some of them are like refer to the plot through a game of telephone.
Are you saying there's not a giant asteroid
came
base?
here last
Well, you know there is a giant
Real
asteroid base, but
operated
it's
this
not.
woman. You heard of Roman Lynch? Well, she lifted one of his bank codes.
So there is a
She's been
Karathi
siphoning off
asteroid.
money slow.
One of the
I think
rumors is,
she's over
there's
her
this
head.
weapons
If
asteroid
Lynch
that the
finds
Karathi
out,
have hidden in an asteroid field.
history.
And so fans spent years searching for that. It is nothing like that in the game. The rumor is supposed to reference part of the plot where you find the Steltech derelict and you get a gun from it. But people were sure there was an asteroid, and he'll give us all sorts of interesting rumors.
Yep.
This is the mission computer.
It's great.
This gives us, if we're not in the guilds, this gives us kind of the generic missions. And we can take up to 3 at a time. So we got to look at them and see if there are things we can do. Mercenary trouble. Like right away, I don't want to do this mission. This is 4,000 credits to fight a mercenary, which will be a Centurion or a Galaxy or something. I don't want to piss off the mercenaries. I don't want to fight something that vastly outclasses me. Helen base needs mercenary to patrol 5 designated. Okay, this is a good one.
Yep.
9,000 credits for a 5-point patrol. Retros are the enemy. Okay.
Yep.
Defend base mission. Defend Achilles base. That's probably a good one. Defend base. Defend Hector base. Kill me. No, don't
do that one.
Don't do that one. If we're gonna intercept a traffic lane of retro presence, so I'll take the retro one.
Okay. What other one you do here?
And I will take the Achilles one. Let me go ahead and save my game now, just so we start that process. Ben game 1. But before we go anywhere and fight anything,
let's do it.
Let's upgrade our ship. So this is the ship dealer. We're immediately presented with these options for buying a new ship. There are 4 ships in the game. We start with the Tarsus, which our Grandpa Mac left us, and we have the dream of someday getting a Centurion if we're a bounty hunter, a Galaxy if we're a merchant, or an Orion if we're a cool guy.
Orion.
But here, if I talk
I
to
hate
these.
to break it to you, but we've checked your account.
You checked our
and you don't have
balance.
enough credits to buy
You
it.
have no right to be
She
here.
sure is a fine ship, though.
Wait, didn't we
isn't
try?
she?
Remember when we tried
Listen,
to do this too?
I want
we
to make
did. We
a sale.
in the
You
in
want
I
to
guess
make a
the
purchase.
pre-season
Let's
of the show.
look
We
at
were
the
still
facts.
figuring this.
Yeah, you know
We
the
tried to
retail
voice
of the
act like
ship.
this guy.
I can
We
use
were
your
not.
ship
We
for
could
trading.
not get his
What's your
enthusiasm right.
Including your cash on hand?
We
That
tried.
still leaves
You
you
just
short.
love this.
Go get some more
Hey,
cash.
come on
and
down.
come
He's got
back
that
when
slight
you're ready
little
to deal.
twang. Like it's
Okay?
awesome.
And don't feel embarrassed. These things.
You're not
happen.
going to get as much voice acting from us this time, unfortunately.
Oh, that's what it was. It's when we compared the original.
We were comparing the versions.
The version intros and the difference in the actors. Now here's
so-
a big moment, right? Because now you have a theory for how to do this and how you start out.
I sell my missile launcher immediately.
And I do not do this. I have never taken this approach because I always thought that the torpedoes were just in Privateer. MREX rule the field, so I did not make that choice.
On my laser, I'm gonna buy.
Yeah, you gotta upgrade.
Buy a couple Messins. So yeah, that's where we are right now. We have very little money. You can see that this is much, much more than we have.
Yeah.
But there's all these options to drool over having someday.
Yep.
And software is another part. We're gonna want eventually to have this 100,000 credit software that gives us. And this is great game design because what we're doing with the software is trying to get back to normal. We played Wing Commander with the military spec color graphics and everything. Now that we're a civilian, we have the crummiest black and white sensors in the world.
Well, go back to that for a sec, because there's one thing that I want to mention that I think that sometimes can screw people, is that at the very top of that screen there are maps.
Yes.
And you can screw yourself and sell your map, so then you have your navigation systems are empty and you are screwed beyond belief.
Yes, do not sell your map. And another way that this game balances, prevents players from diving too in is blocking you into the system without a jump drive.
Yeah.
My Tarsus does not have a jump drive right now, so I can't leave the Troy system.
Yep.
So I have no reason to buy any of the other maps yet.
Well, what's weird is, do you ever actually have to buy them?
Yeah, you have to buy it. You start off with just the local area.
Yeah, but I don't know. I've never purchased them. I feel like
I guarantee you purchase the full sector.
Oh, probably.
By the time you need the full sector, it's so affordable, so you don't even think about it.
Maybe I'm trying to, because I don't ever remember doing it.
Yeah, because you start off with Humboldt already.
Yeah, and I never remember.
In fact, I think you can see if we go to sell. Yeah, we got Humboldt already.
Okay, that's gotcha.
So that will be a dream, but let's show you what the world is like
beyond
for civilians in the mid-commander universe.
Boop, boop. All right, and then there's that sound.
Oh, there's an amazing takeoff scene.
Oh, yeah.
The bases
and
are.
That's when you reach space. Oh, I wish I could hear it.
Oh, something's happening. Oh, it's a retro.
Yeah, you have a mission.
Yeah. So look at this. I'm incredibly slow. My ship has
no IT.
Oh. See, and it's extremely hard. No ITTS, no anything.
Just horrible gun charge. Horrible gun recharge. Where's your
you know what? I should have bought Afterburner. That was the
no! We forgot Afterburner.
Forgot Afterburners.
But the whole environment, the static from your EDU. Although this also has what I consider the most pain in the ass damage in maneuvering jets. When you lose your maneuvering jets, you only turn one direction. Life sucks.
Yeah, you want a droid as quick as possible. There's all sorts of things you want as quick as possible.
Yes. Alright, well,
just how good is that sound when your gun finally connects? Yeah.
Yeah, you hear it hitting armor? Yes, I was told that the music may be a little bit loud, so
okay.
Next time we have a moment.
Which I think will probably be after this game kills me.
I imagine as well.
Because it really does take some getting used to after Privateer 2.
Yep, and then
Commander 2 even.
Yeah. It's such a drastic jump.
Die by the very weapons you adore.
This is such a... So many hours I can think of spending in my dad's house playing forever and ever. This is also great too, because this is one where you can still very quickly identify what weapons are being shot at you. I was never into that though. I don't like messing with my shield energy. I feel like that's just an invitation for screwing it up, setting it to 0, and then you're like, now you have to wait 20 minutes for it to come back up. Because I've done having shields be S right around that danger on the keyboard has screwed me more than once. I know that. I should have went those mass drivers, man.
Those are Messens.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the whenever I always think of the Missile Blaster, I just think of Darkettes. I don't know why, because I just know that's one of their guns. What's interesting is that he was really good at killing you at first, and now he's just toying.
Yeah. Yeah.
he was doing a lot of runs, and now he's just fussing around. Although, your engine must be screwed up too. Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, you are a hunk of crap.
Yeah, I get that a lot. You sound like my wife.
And then it all gets fun. Yeah,
it really is quite a dull turning battle.
Yeah, I'm trying to think too, because our entire exploration of this, it's a one gigantic love letter, and I'm trying to think of other things like critiques to make. You know, I mean, sometimes I wish that the trading and merchant system was a little bit more, had a little bit more depth to it. Because it's a cool little feature, but it's mostly a way you can stack on, you know, a few extra, either 100 or 1,000 credits during missions.
Well, to my mind, one of the things that the mistake people make in critiquing Privateer is they want more. You know, the fan is always, oh, I want to fly the Demon. I want to do this. I want to cap ships. I want people to run my turrets. No, I mean, this game is the perfect level of what it is.
Yeah, I mean, are there certain,
deliver us, O Lord, for we are in
features
need.
I would enjoy? Sure, like hiring a wingman or hiring a transport to escort, you know, giving you something like that, sure. But yeah, you don't need adding more ships, as we've discovered with our exploration of Privateer 2, is that you forget them. They've been forgettable. All you care about is the top ship, and you don't even remember the grind to the top.
To my mind, Privateer has exactly the right number of ships. It has the right number of guns. You understand them all.
Yeah.
Each one feels unique. There's good arguments to be had over which is which. So I think that instead of finishing that mission now, because here's my nav map, I can check my different missions.
And this is another thing you should explain too. This is like, so the nav computer is kind of funky in that it has those weird buttons, right? Mm-hmm. It has a giant arrow button that you're like, what the hell is this thing? And that's actually what rotates through your missions and other like quadrants.
Now entering an automatic landing zone.
So I did win one of the 3 missions. The others may still be in my computer because I'll have a couple landouts.
It depends if you.
It depends on the mission.
Yeah, and whether you you got to go to the ship dealer, I imagine. Yeah. You get some repairs.
So look, now I've got more money though, and let me repair my.
Now you're selling.
Oh no!
And there's the things that can happen, right? I think you have to click sell again. There you go.
There we go.
Oof.
Okay.
Because that's happened before, right? Where you've accidentally, everybody's accidentally sold part of their ship, and then they realize that their save game is 3 missions ago, and, you either walk away or you yell. But yeah, there's when you were saying, you're right. I mean, if you showed me a component and said, what's this? Very easily, oh, that adds this, or, you might know the exact stats, but everything is very...
It all makes sense.
It all makes sense. It all comes together. You have no questions about it.
So I've repaired...
did you buy Afterburner?
I did buy Afterburner, yes.
Do you have Did you buy torpedoes?
I didn't buy any torpedoes.
Okay, you're not doing that?
No. Honestly, what I want next is an engine upgrade.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot to...
repair your...
I forgot to repair my sensors, because you have to do that in the other room.
In the software booth, that's right. Yeah. And and I remember when I first started playing this, I don't think I realized the software booth existed for a while. So because I remember just, playing through this and just being like, I don't understand half of this stuff. And I'll never forget the first time I remember it took me, I must have been so dumb as a kid, because I don't understand what I spent my money on, but it took me forever to get that jump drive, and it's like 10K, it's not...
Yeah, could have bought a jump drive right then.
Yeah, but then you just...
Didn't, because that would have been a bad idea, but...
Yeah, and I don't know why I thought it, I'm trying to remember my life.
I'm not looking for any trouble.
Oh, hey, there it is.
I just love the people and the atmosphere of all this.
Yep, it's always good to see a friendly ship.
Other great thing about the Afterburner in this game is that it
runs off your guns.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like a bad guy.
I don't know if you want to drop your shields in this level Tarsus, though.
No, because I only have the level 1 shield, don't I? Or
yes,
can I drop it at all?
Well, no, from the chat, there's to drop your, because that way you get more afterburner fuel because the shields aren't taking the power away. But
yeah, I use, because I've got a level 1 shield right now, don't I? If I drop it, I'm gonna lose my shields. Or will I still have a base? I don't remember.
No, I don't think so. I think you have nothing at that point. I think you just have. And what he's doing right now is so the blue spheres are the jump points themselves, and they also they're the heart of nav points. No, but he's not in safe space. He's got patrol vision, so he's
repent
gonna
and accept our righteous judgment.
Dude.
Yep. If only you had 4 IMREX, that would be 2 seconds. Just so clunk. So slow. It's so funny. It's old Tarsus.
Yeah, once the Tarsus is gone, you're never gonna get it again.
Yep. Not like you ever want it back anyways, because you had to or I don't know what. I mean, there's been times when I've done playthroughs and, I'll go through all of the other ships you can buy. I'll do a phase where I'm like, I'm gonna be a merchant, and I'll just sit here and bank 500,000 credits, and then I'll switch to maybe. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of the Orion. It needs more guns.
Yeah, then the single missile launcher is a weak point.
Yeah, it's just, and it's supposed to be, this heavy shielded, heavy armored. I don't call it fighter, but like battle wagon, I guess, and it's really not. I mean, if you want to do battle, like the Galaxy's almost a better thing to do for that, because you get more turrets.
The Galaxy's actually a great pirate ship.
Yeah, all the pirate take it. I've never done a full pirate run where I've just tried to just be a jerk and tractor There was one. I would just
Can it be
cargo all
that
of
the
the
god of
retro
man
pirates
abandoned us?
By the way, you may notice that I have become better at this very quickly.
Yep.
You learn your marks because you have to.
Yes.
I mean, it's like riding a bicycle.
Yeah.
After a few deaths.
Privateer definitely. And it's one of those things too where you're like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna jump into this. You can do whatever you feel like, really. It's fine, if you're into the game, if you're into your own game and you're, either before the plot, in the plot, or whatever. One of the great things is just to take, a few hours and say, I'm not going to do those missions. Instead, I want to make another 500,000 credits and use that, as my buffer through the plot missions to make sure that if anything, if I get my ship to dust, that I can repair it.
Deliver us, O Lord, for
and it's
we
fun,
are
even
in
though
need.
you face the talent probably 99% of the time in this game, it's actually not that bad. You never necessarily get, I don't say you get tired of it. It's just, it's the Crown Vic of the Gemini sector.
And these turning battles, I imagine they might not look that exciting, but they really are fun.
Yeah,
there's something thrilling about that very simple battle I just had.
Yeah, because you're hanging on by the seat of your pants with a hunk of junk. And you know that, in this case, it's not, superior firepower, it's often just this. Yes, what's your name? It's a non-jump point now.
Yeah, it's the center one.
And that's one of the other things, right? In this game, when you complete nav points, in order to mark it from red to completed,
close to it,
you have to fly directly through it. So you basically have to fly right through the middle of the crosshair there.
Now, theoretically, every time that you get one of these patrol missions, there's one nav point of bad guys that are.
Forget this meat happened. We got no problem.
Oh, so what I'm actually doing here is
dying. Oh, you're trying to be their buddies? Ah, so Loaf is trying to talk them out of attacking him.
You're clear for clicks.
Which is a great trick. Being able to use your comm system for diplomacy is one of the great things. And so he's literally just sitting. What is it?
Clear for clicks.
Three. Option three is the beg for your life one.
Yep.
If an enemy has not been spawned by the mission, then anybody that's spawned by the mission is going to be hostile and stay hostile. But if they were spawned just by randomness, then they, instead of being hostile to you based on the mission, they're hostile to you based on your standing in the overall balance of the game. There's a faction system that tracks who you killed, and
Yeah, well, just next time you land, we can show that where that is and why.
Absolutely. Now, you can never do that with a retro. Retros will never be your friends. They are religious nuts.
Die by the very weapons you adore! As you know, that's how Valhalla, when retros talk, that's all they actually say to each other back and forth. No, your weapons!
But for these patrol missions, basically one of the nav points will have spawned at it an enemy I have to kill. And all the others will just be random encounters.
Which is even more challenging when you're early in the game and you just have your grayscale radar. Yeah, because you don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, because I could theoretically have up to 5 encounters with bad guys, which is not ideal.
No, that would be very bad. Yes. That'd be very, very bad. I think another good thing about the Talon, though, is even it's the ship you face throughout the game, and it can certainly become a very serious threat, especially when you have several of them attacking you. It's definitely a good enemy ship that scales up, as well as it shows up. I mean, it does show up in a lot of roles, and I wish they maybe had one other ship that they could split between it, you know, for like the militia and pirates and things. But
if only they'd build dumb.
That, or I mean, I feel like the speeder, I feel like it just really be so drastically. It's such a, when you think about it,
Well, I feel like it would have gone through that same
tweaking phase.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that, you know, it shows up in standoff as one of the civilian ships in the civilian fleet, I guess is the polite, non-spoiler way to say it.
So, historian, what is a privateer?
What a great question, Benjamin. A privateer, in the simplest sense, is a legal pirate. In the age of sail, and even into the early 20th century, a privateer is someone who receives a official government sanction to attack enemy vessels. In the past, you'd get things, if you ever played Sid Meier's Pirates, right, you get a letter of marque, which essentially authorizes you as an agent of that country to capture enemy ships and seize their cargoes and sell it for your own profit.
Is it Marquis or Mark?
That was letter Marquis. Or I don't know, you tell me.
I thought it was Mark, but maybe it's Marquis, I don't know.
I've heard it say Mark, I think it was Marquis. Now you're going to be thinking like Maki too from like Star Trek, but that's
You would embarrassing yourself at the pirate club?
I guess so. I guess I'm
no, I don't know. I don't know if it's right or not.
Now entering an automatic landing zone.
Something from the government, and it would allow you then to go out. So, you know, in the early American Revolution, they would issue letters of marque.
Here's a agricultural planet. Beautiful.
Yep, with a big skyscraper and a beach in the background. Which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but that's okay. But, privateer, they would go out there. They would raid enemy vessels. The idea is that they're helping facilitate a conflict. During the Revolution, a lot of the early American Navy was privateers. I believe Sir Francis Drake is considered a privateer at first before he goes on. I'm trying to think of any. I don't know many other famous ones.
Let me ask you a question right now. What do you do with your money right now? Where it is? I've got 23,000 at this point.
Okay.
What do you do?
I would go with a missile launcher and IMREX just to help facilitate the destruction.
To make it move along faster.
Well, to help your money increase, because that way, for those out there, two IMREX will absolutely just toast a Talon. So if you get one missile launcher with 10 IMREX, you can't launch them as fast as you get two, and you just run like crazy. But it helps kill them faster, so you can kind of move up.
Okay, that's an interesting thought that I've never done before, but I'll I'll give it a try.
All right. And you don't have to buy, the full load of, you buy a few missiles at a time this time. You don't get your full 10 if you want, but it just depends.
I mean, there's no reason.
Yeah, there's no reason not to. Yeah, you have plenty.
But I've still got some cash. Maybe I should be an engine. I'm gonna go ahead and get an engine
engine's
upgrade.
a good one.
That'll help my power issues.
You gotta love it. You put your hand on the computer to activate it. A little bit of.
Like, this is a mission I can't do. This is another one that can screw you up. They want me to take fuel to the Magdalene base and the powder system. Can't do that without a jump drive.
And that was one of the things that screwed me at first.
Tinker off system, yeah.
Because you see 22,000 credits, I want to do that, and then you get stuck with it for God knows how long because you can't jump out of the damn system.
Most of these are for others. All of them are for other systems. Okay, surgical defense of Achilles. Okay, I'll take that.
Sure.
You're up to... Nope. That's hunting of hearts. So there's only one mission I can do right now.
Well, there's a drunk with some puke on the floor.
Yeah. They said the audio was too high.
Yes, do the audio and then show the factions in the computer.
Factions in the computer.
In
my Quine.
Yeah.
Alright, well, let me turn down desktop audio a bit.
Let's see what that is.
Turn up our mic. Yeah, let us know if that's any better.
Let's see how this adjusts now when we go back in.
Alright.
The Quine.
Oh, Quine.
So then, because this is a weird thing, because you're,
So this was not in the disc version. This was added for the CD. You see, I've killed 4 retros. They're hostile to me.
They hate you.
Yep.
So you see hostile, neutral, and there's nobody friendly just yet.
No.
So you have no Fs.
No Fs given.
Okay, they say, well, they won't know until, well, we'll check space in a second. They say it's only allowed in space, so let's see.
Let's go over to the Achilles system and we'll see. Or is this Achilles? I think this is Achilles.
No, Achilles is the mining.
Oh, you're right. Alright, well, let's...
Because Helen is the agriculture. It's Achilles, Helen, and that other one. Hector.
Hector, yeah. All characters from the Iliad.
Oh, and they're set in Troy?
Mm-hmm.
How's it sound now?
Die by the very weapons you adore.
And now we've added the additional. He has the diamond for a missile lock. Oh, look at you.
You know, those missiles fire automatically for some reason.
Oh wow. I didn't
Maybe
realize
I'm hitting a button on
I was going to say, I didn't even realize you. I was like, damn, those are some great gunshots.
No, that was 2 missiles.
Oh, jeez. Wow. Okay,
So,
that makes much more sense then.
That, you know what, I gotta hand it to you. That did make that mission very easy.
Yeah. That's how I forget when I found into that, but, yeah. Oh, now it's kind of quiet, they say. We will adjust.
Let me...
Where's it? That's 40...
I'm gonna give it up to there-ish, maybe?
Yeah, it's okay. It's good.
Oops, did I just accept a mission accidentally?
I don't think so. No. I hope not. Fly to the...
Okay, they want me to go to the CMFA system? Nope. No. 5 nav points in Troy. Yeah. Defense of Hector. That's an easy one.
Yeah, that's probably 2 ships.
Pirate trouble in the Troy system. Nav 2.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I'm gonna skip that patrol for now.
Okay, what else do you need? You got plenty of repairs?
Yeah,
you got missiles, everything else?
Missiles.
No, you got 8 missiles.
I could replace my 2 missiles, but...
Yeah. And what's funny is, as sometimes it seems like it could be tedious. It's you just get into the habit of, okay, I land, I go to the ship dealer, I repair my ship, I upgrade my ship, and
it feels fine once you do it. Once you get into it, it's just you zen out. In fact, I think it probably makes for a less interesting stream. In my head, I'm feeling bad because this isn't so interesting because
you're about to stop.
We're in the beginning part here, but this is also a part where we can. It's amazing that I would guess that all the guys that we hang out on Discord, that we probably all have a different method for how we get to our initiating point, if you will, for say the plot or whatever, or just to start exploring the sector in greater detail. I mean, I'm somebody who I typically try to I won't leave Troy until I have maybe 100,000 credits, in addition to my ship being fully loaded out. That way I don't have to worry as much about, then you can start doing all of the...
I'm actually the same way. I'm very cautious.
You're about to
Because I've gone out when I first got this as a kid, and you'd go out there a little too aggressively, and you spend your time chasing credits to just repair your ship, and you never are able to fully repair it. You definitely fire it.
One thing I want to figure out is why my missiles are firing automatically.
What button? What else button? Is it the side hat? That can't be, though. I mean, no way.
There must be a button depressed somewhere that's firing them when they...
But it's something that's hitting return.
Now entering an automatic landing zone.
Sorry, return. I'll have to figure out my stick mapping later.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe it's...
For now, it's just making it much easier.
Yeah, I mean, you're just...
Slightly expensive, but...
Yeah. $150, that's the thing, though, Although in this game there are no... Well, there's only... just the Kilrathi give you a bounty?
Right, you'll get money for killing a Kilrathi.
That you never notice.
Okay, 1 nav of retro, that's good.
That's good.
Rev 3. Sometimes you get like a bounty system for multiple systems. Disappearance of military craft. Okay, let's try that.
And what's great is even those kind of generic, computer missions. I mean, after a while, you start to see the formula, but it's just there's enough variety that you're just like, sure.
Yeah.
In your head, you can pretend that whatever
speed
is
and
need to happen is happening.
Well, in fact, one of the things that one of the first things I did when I met HCL way back in the day was I begged him to figure out how to extract all the names because I wanted to know. If a producer, note this down, the names of the companies from Privateer. We'll go through them all.
Oh, Jesus. There must be a bazillion.
There's like 100 of them or something.
I was gonna say, yeah. And then, and you get the extra, because the merchant and mercenary skilled missions, your mission formula is basically the same. It's just that there's a little bit more spice in it.
See, that fired all my missiles at him.
What the? Fire your guns. It's that.
Oh.
It must be the double trigger.
Oh, okay.
Is it a tool? Is it double trigger? Or just
weird.
Because if you pull it back once, does it fire?
Well, I'm not going to try it again, right?
Yeah.
One missile.
Yeah. Okay.
But that must be it. Yeah. Weird.
Huh. That's weird because it's never done that on anything else.
Yeah. I'll have to switch that out. There must be some setting I can do.
Yeah. That's. Huh. I wonder but I think it's when you pull it all the way, because is it like one trigger and then like 2 things in there?
No, I think it's just a single trigger. I mean, it must be mapped to.
Trigger but it didn't do it until you pulled the trigger twice, then it fired that missile.
Odd.
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe a DOSBox. I know DOSBox has something specific for Thrustmasters. Maybe I have to turn that off.
Oh, how dare they have something specific for Thrustmaster. Who knows, maybe that explains how you launched a torpedo somehow last week.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't think so.
No, because I wasn't firing missiles in the other game. It's just Privateer.
Yeah.
But it feels like home. If I ever built a sim pit, I would want it to be this incredible. By the way, full cockpit all around you. Yep. It feels like home.
Yeah, I'm so glad too when we decided on we were trying to pick our ships for our drum drive sequences. We made sure not to pick this hunk of crap.
Now entering an
even though it is a 2-seater.
I
feel like Ben and I deserve a slightly nicer ship than that.
So put it to the crowd. Do you want me to keep playing or?
No, so yeah, we are currently at 2 hours and 40 minutes.
We're trying to decide how we do this, basically.
Yeah, so we put several ideas floating around, and so one, like we were talking about earlier, is the tour grind, where it's kind of a mix of going through the Gemini sector as well as grinding missions to build up cash. The other way is we would make some skips and essentially go through the game and move ahead when we have more money, different ships, then do the plot and things, because we're not sure next week if we're going to do a big tour of the sector, if we're going to keep grinding. I
might play on the weekend.
He might
share with you guys.
Yep, because we're just
I'm going to make my goal tonight to get one of them droids.
Okay.
Which is not. I mean, theoretically, if I get these next 2 missions, I'm going to be good. I'll get a droid buddy.
Okay.
And we're gonna have all sorts of stuff to talk about as we go because
I think a lot of it, like,
concept art and
and it's gonna be mixed in with our, how we play the different missions, some of the tricks of, some of the great tricks of Privateer that once you figured it out, it made you want to rage and throw your monitor out the window because the asteroids in Privateer are a real bitch until you figure out the trick, and then it's just a, trying not to throw up as you violently pivot up and down.
just like life.
Yeah, just like life. That's correct, sir. That is correct. But yeah, so we're gonna think about it over, for the next week or so. We asked you guys to let us know what you think as well. But we're gonna make sure to hit every corner of the Gemini sector. Go through all the cool details, tell our own war stories of things that have happened. Right? Everybody's had a crazy Privateer moment, or a game, or a save game they've had to give up because they've done something eminently stupid. Like piss everybody off, and then have land on a base with no ship dealer, and then your maneuvering jets are destroyed. You have one gun, and
they're keeping us very safe in the Troy system. Every base has everything.
Yep.
They're trying to avoid us breaking anything.
Yep.
But
you go out into the wild.
No contraband. Not every base has everything. Sometimes there's not a.
Yep.
Oh, and now I've accidentally come across some space battle with the militia.
And then, or there's, one where you're making a long series of jumps and you don't realize that there are no bases in the system to land to refuel. And you spend endless years flying through the void. Yeah, I mean, I can remember getting stuck in a refinery base. I forget if it was like one of the MiGs missions or what. But I just remember that, oh great, I am screwed, my ship is a total wreck. Like, I'm gonna have to, play this 1,000 times and hope to get insanely lucky once. I think I just, restarted or something. This is an era, too, where, you can't just use one save game. You gotta have multiples.
But, a 200 kilobyte save game, those added up at the time, too.
They did, yeah, they did. You gotta be careful about such things, that's true. There's so many
now
moments
entering
of,
an automatic landing zone.
Oh, I was on this. I was doing one of the exploratory missions, and then I ran into an asteroid at full speed, and my save game was 3 missions back. And
you're doing very well. I mean, normally I would have died a couple times by now.
Yeah. Hey, it's easier when you have a co-pilot. There's somebody to keep you company in that cockpit up there.
So I now have enough money for a droid buddy, which is going to save me money in the long run. As I get damaged, it will repair my ship as long as they're totally destroyed.
And it will be, it will prevent you from the biggest annoyance of the game, which is the maneuvering jet damage. I mean, it's a fantastic gameplay element, but my God, can it be infuriating?
And I think my next goal is going to have to be some mid-range color scanners.
Okay.
So the next time I play, I will try to earn enough money for some scanners.
Oh, yeah.
Because you need a fair goal.
Yeah, you need something that gray radar is just
it's too much.
It is. It's such a. Oh God, yeah. It's funny. I'm sure we'll have plenty of stories from ourselves and the crowd about silly things we did as a kid, or buying the wrong thing, or you sold your whole ship and all you have is a damn sensor and it's useless and you're pit. Yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed our very first Privateer stream. Before we get to our ending, we're going to do a little bit of cargo bay. We have one little item this week I wanted to show off. Okay.
Oops. They could see us. They knew. They didn't know those recorded sound effects. So let's make sure we get some space to put this.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think it may have been in a pre-show, but back at Christmas, my mother Happy Mother's Day. My mom got me a fantastic corgi model of the British Electric Lightning, which has been sitting back up there on the table.
It's right
in the thing,
right?
Which is the aircraft that the Rapier in Wing Commander was built from in the Wing Commander movie.
Yep.
So I wanted to get him a buddy, and I did.
Hey.
This is by his base, I guess. He's just kind of laying in there.
This
is a fancy model of a British Canberra bomber.
Oh, it's like a screensaver right now.
Which is the aircraft that was used to make the broadsword in the Wing Commander movie. Just the very first cockpit section.
Let me turn it. Actually, hold on. I just lost part of your thing.
Oh, it's got a wheel thing that comes out. Yeah.
Yes, it's in my lap. All right. So you were trying to say this section.
Yeah, basically that very first...
Oops.
Nope.
Give out the nose. Damn
the
camera.
Nose section became the practical nose for the broadsword. And a couple months ago, I did a full tracking of where that specific aircraft that was used came from.
Very proud of you, sir.
And it was this exact paint scheme from the same squadron.
Ooh.
So I thought that was perfect.
That is.
So just added to our background.
Yes.
And that's our only cargo bay for the week, but I thought it actually arrived today. I was really excited. I wanted to share it.
We're gonna have to do a little bit of a Jesus Christ here. A little bit
rearranged.
It's like the Tarawa's deck back there, as we described. Although you thought my crazy idea was actually a good one, which I don't know.
All right. Well, let's go to our ending screen.
Yeah. Does this sit all the way down or above it?
I don't know. I just got it.
Oh, I guess it sits above it. Interesting. That's weird.
I can take it over here.
Yeah. So yes. I don't want to put it between us.
So what is happening next week on All Wings Considered?
Oops. Yeah, that thing does like to. Yeah, it's yes.
I'll get it later.
So next week we have more book club.
More book club.
We are getting into the center of fleet action. We're making our move beyond the frontier and the land.
We're going to find out what the Kilrathi are up to, although we already know what the Kilrathi are up to. So.
We're going to be in the Harry system.
Things are going to get hairy.
Yeah.
That should be our tagline.
Sad. Dan does that too. And then we will also continue our exploration of the Gemini sector.
More craft here.
We're not sure how, but let us know and we'll figure out how to. We're going to go around our wonderful sectors, see all the big bases.
There's going to be all sorts of good stuff. Then we'll play the plot. It's good stuff coming up.
What else do we have? And otherwise, I think we'll see what happens.
Yeah, some surprises.
Yes.
I want to do the part on the Nephilim. I want to do the alien race part on them because I meant to this week and just did not have time.
Well, actually, let me add one. Since we're talking about that real quick, before the show, I have been joking how I might have to create a company for some reasons, and I was like, what would be? We were joking like, oh, what a funny name. Mantu Research would be funny because the Mantu, ha ha ha, all that. Come to find out, there's actually a Mantu company. And apparently Mantu means advisor in Sanskrit.
Interesting.
Yes. And I will not explain anything more because I refuse, because that company is ridiculous. Yes.
So,
with that,
I want to thank you all.
Yes.
You guys,
don't forget that.
Always good to us, and it's really fun hanging out and sharing Wing Commander stuff, and we'll see you next time.
No. I put this in front of you.
Okay. I thought from my blind eye.
I know, but that's why I kept pushing. Figuring
we got to do our flight log.
Yes, because otherwise we're gonna be the worst pilots of all time by having
there's some argument that
that's probably true.
All right.
No, I have the signature pen. I was looking at that.
Okay.
Yes, because otherwise this is gonna be. It's like these guys were horrible pilots here. What's going on? But yes.
Draw a quick spaceship for us.
Oh, I already. Never mind. I thought I forgot I'd done that. Yes. Yes. Actually, it's not Turkish. It's Afghani dumpling. We learned that as well. But also, I believe there's a Turkish recipe as well. But that's Manti, I think. Mantu is the Afghan version. It's very weird. We were surprised.
Accents on there.
There you go. I like the. It's very relevant.
It's always going to be relevant.
It would have been better if you had some guns firing and your missiles because you're like they're all going at once.
So here's our Tarsus for this week's show.
Here's your signature, sir.
And I will.
One day we're
sign that sucker.
We'll sell this for 20. Look how crappy our signatures are.
But look how amazing my art is.
It just completely ignores that. There you are, sir.
So there we go. That's another successful mission. Here's Clyde.
Yes. See ya.
Hi, I'm Dr. Clyde Burrows from the Omnicron Institute. The mass driver cannon sure packs a satisfying plonk. A mass driver is a real concept, and it's more than just a shotgun in space. Mass drivers aren't really for blowing up spaceships, though. They're for launching them. A mass driver is an electromagnetic catapult that uses a motor to accelerate and then catapult its payload to incredible speeds. That means you could theoretically fire a spacecraft into space without using any sort of rocket at all. It would be propelled entirely by its own momentum. See you on the next exciting episode of All Wings Considered.